Part 2. I was clearly the worst student in the current senior class, yet I scored a 750 on the entrance exam. Everyone was so shocked that even my teachers began to wonder why my IQ had suddenly become so high. However, when the skepticism came pouring in, instead of defending myself, I wantonly mocked the proposition team. And I quickly became the center of attention on the entire internet because of such a wild gesture. Everyone couldn't help but wonder, how on earth did I create such a shocking miracle? Hi everyone, I'm so happy to see you guys back on my channel. Your subscribe and comments mean very important to me. Thank you. Now enjoy this story. Chapter 44, NB's Money Class. New student check-in ended quickly, and Wang Fuguwei received a notice from the counselor to go to the money class on the top floor of the physics department building. Arriving at the top floor of the physics department, Wang Fuguwei realized that the floor was huge. The overall shape of the building's staircase is backward. The hallway runs through, and you can walk around the penthouse. Except for one multi-purpose classroom, the rest are laboratories, a total of 10 laboratories, each with an estimated area of more than 200 square meters. You can't see what's inside, it's blocked tightly, as if you're afraid someone will see it. With curiosity, Wang Fuguwei entered the class that the counselor said he was in. After all, this was the only classroom on this floor. It says Moneypenny on it in brush letters. Signed as the Qian Lao who shocked the entire Dragon Kingdom, leading the Dragon Kingdom's science and technology to achieve a huge leap, an explosive increase in social productivity, and leaping from a weak and impoverished country to the #1 power of the Blue Planet in 40 years. Approaching the class, the people were basically already there. In a classroom of a dozen people, there was not a single sound. It is not an exaggeration to say that these people are role kings. The high school exams were over, college hadn't started yet, and everyone was clutching a few books and looking at them. You can tell that all have their own pride. After all, they're all the top talents from each province, and even some provinces don't have places to come in this money class. What Wang Fuguwei didn't know was that his name was all over the campus of Tsinghua University, and his perfect score on the college entrance exam was like a dazzling new star that illuminated the entire academic world. It was also this achievement that allowed him to step into one of the most awesome majors of Tsinghua University, the physics major, and enter the legendary money class. Otherwise, you can't get into this class without a gold medal in some national or higher competition. Before, the class only enrolls provincial top scorers or gold medalists in the World Olympiad Physics competition, so the total number of students in the class is extremely sparse. Including Wang Fuguwei, there are only 15 students, 9 boys and 6 girls. Soon, the counselor Lin Yutong, dressed in overalls, walked in. Lin Yutong. The name was like a bright jewel in the physics department of Beijing University, both dazzling and awe-inspiring. It was learned through a system search. She is an excellent graduate from the money class. Currently not only a tutor in the Qian class, but also a young professor who has already made a name for herself in academia at the tender age of 30. Her achievements and talents have been admired by countless people. Lin Yutong's beauty is not the kind of ostentatious, eye-catching beauty, but a kind of introverted, quiet beauty. Her face was clear and beautiful, her skin as delicate as gelatin, and her eyes were bright and deep, as if they could see into the hearts of the people. Her nose was straight, her lips gently closed, and she always wore an imperceptible smile. Her hair was soft and dark, often tied back in a simple bun for a clean look. The most striking thing was her black framed glasses, which not only didn't hide her beauty, but added a bit of intellectual flavor. The eyes under her glasses always shine with wisdom, and when she explains complicated physics problems, those eyes seem to light up the whole classroom, making all the obscure and difficult to understand clear. Lin Yutong's figure was slender, and she always wore simple and generous clothing, making no fuss, but always showing her elegance and temperament without realizing it. She always walks with a straight back and a steady pace, and every movement reveals her confidence and calmness. Wang Fuguwei couldn't help but be overjoyed when he met Lin Yutong for the first time. He had originally thought that the counselor must be a serious and bad old man for entering such a scholarly class, but he had never expected to welcome such a beautiful and talented female professor. Lin, the appearance of Yutong not only adds a touch of color to Qianban, but also brings an expectation to Wang Fuguwei's college life. As beautiful as Lin Yutong was, she wasn't the type to show her emotions easily. She was always unsmiling, always meticulous in her approach to academics and teaching, and her rigorous attitude left her students in both awe and admiration. Standing in front of the podium, Counselor Lin Yutong's eyes revealed his anticipation and pride in these young talents. After introducing himself, Lin Yutong continued, "The Qian class is one of the most important classes in Tsinghua University, or one of the three, and there are only two other classes in the whole university that are equal to our Qian class. As for the teachers of the Qian class, none of them were either national scholars of the Dragon Kingdom or academicians of the Dragon Kingdom National Academy. There were less than 100 recipients of these two honors alive, and they were all top talents from all walks of life. The fact that this university has the most professors with such an honor, 18 in all, and that our physics department alone has 5, speaks volumes about the gold content of our class. You are all nationally selected talents, and your eyes should not be fixed on whether you can score full marks in the exams, but whether you can break out of the books and create your own results. In this class, we have come out with many of the top people in the industry, but there are also those who have died out. So, as long as there is breath in your body, you must move forward without stopping. There are now 15 people in the class. After each semester, it will be graded comprehensively, including examination results, academic and patent achievements, competition honors, and usual performance and other 4 aspects of assessment. The last 2 in the assessment results are eliminated from the money class and go to the regular class. A total of 4 semesters in freshman and sophomore year will eliminate 8 people, meaning that only 7 people will eventually graduate from the money class. The certificate of graduation will be stamped with the steel seal of the money class and an electronic security mark. When you go out there, if you take out your diploma from the money class, that's a passport to all positions concerning physics, and anyone without political dirt can just apply for the job. After hearing this, Wang Fuguwei was directly confused. Was this class so cruel? It's not enough to do well on the exams, so it looks like your idea of laying flat is going to be dashed. But with the system in place, one man can do anything. Lin Yutong, the counselor on the podium, saw that everyone was subdued and was satisfied to continue. The Longwa academician in class are not going to explain the contents of the book directly again, so you need to eat the contents of the textbook thoroughly in advance, otherwise the learning progress will soon fall behind. Also, let me simply ask if anyone has not finished reading the textbooks for the 4 years of college. Raise your hand if you haven't finished reading it. Wang Fuguwei's inner thoughts. Crap, has not yet begun school. Ask me which classmates have not finished reading college textbooks. I thought reading most of the textbooks was already considered NB, but it turned out that the clown was actually myself. Wang Fuguwei awkwardly raised his hand and looked around. 2 other people also raised their hands. 15 people, 12 of them have already read all the textbooks before the university started. What a fucking demon. The king of volumes is not even enough to describe this group of people. Lin Yutong nodded and signaled for everyone to put it down. Those who haven't finished reading should hurry up, lest they can't keep up with the progress. Academicians who didn't follow the textbook schedule in class, and who have questions after class, they don't have much time to explain to you. You can ask me anything you really don't know, and I've basically mastered all the textbook content below the doctoral level. Chapter 45, A Dismissal at the Class Meeting. Wang Fuguwei Inaroe. Look at it, human words or not. Lin Yutong. Finally, an exciting announcement. Perhaps you guys have heard about it as well. Our Tsinghua University, as the top-ranked school in the country, will select 3 regulars plus 1 alternate, totaling 4 people, to participate in the National College Selection Competition. Wang Fuguwei raised his hand and asked, "What auditions and what for?" Lin Yutong. The National Collegiate Selection Competition is where each school sends a team of 4 to compete in the National Collegiate Modeling Competition. At the end of the day, 15 judges score the 8 schools with the highest scores, 32 team members, and enter the intensive training camp. After 1 month of intensive training, an assessment will be conducted, and the top 4 overall team members will represent the Dragon Kingdom and participate in the World Modeling Contest in 2 months. Since its inception, the World Modeling Competition has been held 14 times, once every 2 years, and this year is the 15th edition. A student asked, "So did we do well? After all, we are the #1 power in the world." Lin Yutong looked at the classmate. She remembered that her name was Zhang Chong, the top student of XX province, the gold medalist of the World Olympic Physics Competition, the genius of geniuses. Then with a tone of regret, he said, "Unfortunately, so far, we've never won a championship. The best finish in history is 3rd place, and the number of times we've been in the top 3, only 4 times. All of them, including Wang Fuguwei, found it unbelievable how Long Guo, the world's #1 power in science, technology, and military, didn't have much good results in such an important competition." Lin Yutong signaled everyone to be quiet and continued. The great leap in our country's strength is the result of the selfless dedication of a large number of talented scientists, including Elder Qian, working day and night to create the current heyday. However, the great development of material life has made many people forget history, the shame they once felt, and the fine style of hard work. Most of the people who enter the BOE do so in order to get a better job, a higher salary, or as a stepping stone to study overseas and eventually settle overseas. This has led to a massive brain drain, and in the past few years, we have tended to be surpassed in our level of technological development. Just recently, an overseas company, Riches and Honor, announced high-density, solid battery technology, as well as room-temperature superconductor technology and ultra-high-efficiency Terra energy collection and conversion devices. These are technologies that are 20 years directly ahead of today's world technology level. No matter which country develops it, it will only take less than 3 years for it to completely surpass our Dragon Kingdom and rise strongly. So, students, study for the rise of the dragon. Do not let our children and grandchildren cannot raise their heads in foreign countries, and do not let the dragon again trampled by other countries. That said, originally, this competition was only available to juniors and seniors, but considering the special strengths of the money class, our class was allowed to apply, and, of course, was required to take an exam for selection. Subjects assessed include physics, mathematics, biology, chemistry, computer science, and geography. Don't embarrass yourself if you are heavily biased. You will lose your money class if you get too low a score. Now, you can decide if you want to enroll or not, and if you want to enroll, come and register with me. Wang Fuguwei hurriedly bowed his head. This is not the fucking thing I messed up? Now how is it even a company that is a threat to the Dragon Nation? Riches and Honor directly translates to Riches and Honor. It was no wonder, though. It was impossible for anyone to connect Wang Fuguwei to this company. The National High School seniors, even more NB, are just great at exams. Other companies have already developed results. For this with the World Modeling Contest, Wang Fuguwei's idea is so troublesome competition, there are a variety of selection, training, and then abroad to participate in the competition. I'm not going to go in this side of the Raider girl. She does not smell good. Ding! System. Release the task, the World Modeling Competition to win the championship. The championship over a long period of time. High difficulty. After winning the championship, rewards are rich-o. Absolutely value for money. Wang Fuguwei. Xiaogao, are you messing with me? System. The rewards are super generous, yo. Do not go, will regret it, oh. Wang Fuguwei. Well, I'll just go sign up then. When I went to linguistics to sign up, I saw that there were a total of 6 people enrolled in the class. It seems to be all students who are very confident in their overall strengths. Zhang Chang. Some people have to have self-awareness. The college entrance examination is good. The competition may fail, oh. Do not give us money class shame. Wang Fuguwei looked around. Are you talking about me? Zhang Chang. No, who owns the right seat is who I am. Wang Fuguwei glanced at the counselor, Lin Yutong, and she didn't give any indication. It seems that she should think that competition is one of the ways to push the strength of classmates to improve. Or, she also thought the same thing. This Wang Fuguwei is just a good high school entrance examination results. Other than that, did not see any results. I hope not to drag the back of the money class. Wang Fuguwei, heart clear, smiled and did not say anything. Now argue more useless. Speak with the facts. Originally, I had little fighting spirit, and now you guys are playing like this, right? In a few days, I'll make you kneel down and sing Conquest. The exam covers a wide range of areas, including physics, math, computers, geography, biology, and chemistry, making it an extreme test of comprehensive knowledge. Wang Fuguwei knew that he had to work overtime and utilize his system in order to catch up in a short period of time. In the next 3 days, Wang Fuguwei immersed himself completely in the sea of knowledge. He utilized the powerful aids of the system to assimilate the contents of over 200 textbooks. His eyes swept quickly over the pages, each line of text seeming to be burned into his brain. It was as if his brain had turned into a supercomputer, constantly processing huge amounts of information. During the day, Wang Fuguwei was in the corner of the library. The sound of pages turning accompanied his rhythm, and his figure was almost cut off from the world around him. At night, he lay on his bed and closed his eyes as the system guided him into a dream world. In the dream, he continued to study, and those complicated formulas and theories became vivid and easy to understand as if they were alive in his mind. The deputy librarian, Lan Xian, saw Wang Fuguwei come first and leave last every day, and had decided that this student was really good at learning, and his goodwill unconsciously increased. Ding! System. Blue heart favorability plus 15, current favorability 25, common friend. Ouch, a windfall. Time flies like a white horse, and before you know it, the day of the audition is here. Wang Fuge stood in the examination room, and his heart was full of confidence. The exam for the audition is 10 hours long. Yes, you read that right, it's 10 hours. You can sleep when you're tired, you can eat, go to the bathroom, or even go out and flip through books and use the computer. This is because all the questions definitely appeared for the first time, and the original or similar questions could not be found online. Moreover, as the proud sons of Kyowa University, people didn't care to cheat. Exam this up when the national college tryouts revealed a cloven foot. That is a disgrace to the whole country. Chapter 46. The beginning of the Kyowa University qualifying tournament. All of the defaults that participate take the test properly, but of course some drop out halfway through. After all, you can tell by looking at it if you can do it or not. What's the point of taking a test when you know all the words of the question, but don't understand the meaning at all? The papers were handed out, and his eyes quickly scanned over the questions. Nice guy, a physics question right off the bat. Look at this. This is the kind of question someone who graduated from a regular high school would do. Topic 1. Relativistic particle gas pedals. Consider a particle gas pedal that uses an electric field to accelerate charged particles. Suppose that a section of the gas pedal has an accelerating tube of length L and an electric field of strength E. A relativistic electron of mass m is accelerated in this accelerating tube. Calculate the velocity v of the electron after it passes through the accelerating tube and discuss how the momentum and energy of the electron change under relativistic effects. Request. Ignore the spin effect of electrons. B. Calculate the final velocity v of the electron using the relativistic kinetic equations. C. Based on the results of the calculations, discuss how the momentum and energy of an electron at very high velocities compare to the non-relativistic case. D. If the design of the gas pedal requires electrons to reach 99.9% of the speed of light after passing through the accelerator tube, calculate the required electric field strength E. Topic 2. Quantum tunneling and potential barrier penetration. An electron of particle mass m is located in front of a one-dimensional rectangular potential barrier of width d and height v_0. The potential of the potential barrier is equal to the kinetic energy of the electron, i.e., EV_0 equals 1/2 mv², where E is the charge of the electron. Suppose the electron starts moving at an initial velocity v_I from a certain distance from the potential barrier. Request. A. Calculate the probability that an electron will pass through the potential barrier in the absence of other external forces. B. Using the theory of tunneling effects in quantum mechanics, discuss the possibility of an electron penetrating a potential barrier and calculate the probability of penetration. C. Discuss how the wave-particle duality of an electron affects its probability of penetrating a potential barrier if the electron has a de Broglie wavelength lambda equals h/p, where h is Planck's constant and p is the electron's momentum. D. Calculate the probability of an electron penetrating the potential barrier, assuming that the initial velocity v_I of the electron is such that its de Broglie wavelength is lambda. Discuss what this result tells us about the understanding of the fluctuating nature of particles in quantum mechanics. However, to Wang Fugue, whose brain was developed by 20%, this was not a problem. And it was in that it wouldn't, and the system, a super-intelligent brain, could help him out. The pen in your hand dances across the answer key as if it were alive. The answers were accurate and quick, and each question felt like it was customized for him. 3 more difficult physics questions follow. Next came the math questions. Hint: consider using Lebesgue's differential theorem and Holder's inequality to solve this problem. 5 questions in each subject, the first 2 being basic. You call that basic? The last 3 questions are extended questions. 6 subjects, 30 answer questions. On average, each topic should take no more than 20 minutes. The results from previous years show that 99% of the people are not able to finish the questions. The remaining 1% are often less than 80% correct as well. As the exam progressed, Wang Fugue's performance became more and more compelling. The invigilators exchanged surprised looks. They had never seen a student able to complete such a difficult paper so quickly and accurately. Wang Fugue, on the other hand, was like a rising star, illuminating the entire examination room. After only 4 hours, Wang Fugue completed all the test questions. And what is even more frightening is that his draft paper is blank. That is to say, All his logical reasoning and calculations are carried out within the computer. And the handwriting is neat and logical. What was even more frightening was that for quite a few topics, Wang Fugue had listed multiple solutions, demonstrating his amazing knowledge base and computing power comparable to that of a computer. The results came out the day after the auditions. Listening to a couple of teachers spouting off there, 1/3 of the school has been pulled to correct exam papers. Luckily, there were quite a few people who had a lot of blanks on their rolls, or they would have had to change them to death. In front of the main teaching building of Jinghua University, the morning light was dim, and a large group of students had already gathered in front of the bulletin board, either nervously or expectantly waiting for the results of the audition to be announced. Wang Fugue stood on the outskirts of the crowd, his eyes piercing through the layers of the wall of people, trying to peer at the list that would determine his fate. However, the crowd was so overwhelming that he could barely get close. He sighed softly, but his mind was at peace. Forget it, don't look at it. There's a time in your life when you have to have it, and a time in your life when you don't have it when you don't have it, so don't force yourself to have it. Wang Fugue said to himself. He knew his own strength and understood that no matter what the outcome was, life would go on. If it doesn't make varsity, it just means there is more to learn and improve. Putting down the burden in his heart, Wang Fugue decided to give himself a rare vacation today. In the morning, he asked Yueshi to go shopping with him, enjoying the bustle of the city and easy communication. They strolled along the bustling shopping streets, sampled various cuisines, and talked about interesting events on campus and visions for the future. Such a time was a rare relaxation and pleasure for Wang Fugue, who usually buried his head in hard studies. And Yueshi was a very, very conservative girl, and every time Wang Fugue's hand was placed where it shouldn't be, it would immediately be knocked off. It looks like it will be a while before the raiders can fully raid and get on base. The afternoon sun was warm and bright, and Wang Fugue's mood was as bright as this sunshine. In the evening, he met up with Ji Rumeng, and the two of them went to enjoy a romantic dinner together. The atmosphere of the restaurant was cozy and elegant as they sat opposite each other, enjoying the food as well as each other's company. After the meal, they strolled through the illuminated streets, enjoying the serenity and romance of the evening. Subsequently, Wang Fugue brought Ji Rumeng to the old place clock room, where the two of them spent a passionate and unforgettable time. In that moment, all the stresses and worries seemed to dissipate, leaving only the resonance of two heartbeats and the mingling of deep emotions. However, this also made Wang Fugue realize a problem. It was not good for him to keep going to the bellhop. It's not a question of money or not, it's a question of inconvenience, and, for fear of being unhygienic, safety. I heard that there was a hotel where a couple was having sex when a couple suddenly rushed in and brutalized them, and it made the headlines at the time. Chapter 47. We Need a Villa. Wang Fugue stood on the campus of Jinghua University, looking at the city skyline in the distance, with a decision in his heart. Annoyed by the inconvenience and privacy issues of bells and whistles, he needed a more comfortable and secure space, a home that reflected his identity and taste. He wanted not just a villa, but an intelligent mansion that would meet all his needs. Thinking of this, Wang Fugue called out the system. Xiaogao, help me buy a house near the school. It is convenient for day life. System. No need to purposely lengthen the tone of your voice. I understand it all. Want a courtyard or a villa building? Wang Fugue. The courtyard is old. It's troublesome to remodel and decorate, and it's not easy to add new features to it. Get me a modern villa, a well-decorated one that can be moved in with a handbag. System. Okay, querying. The query is complete. Meet the conditions of a total of 68 places. To increase the screening conditions to reduce the number of you browse. Wang Fugue. Try to be bigger, with better modern facilities and automatic security systems, so that you don't have to recruit security guards. System. Okay, the screening is complete. There are 7 places that meet the conditions. As for the monitoring and security system, just leave it to me, and make sure not a single mosquito can fly in. Wang Fugue. This a mosquito cannot fly into is the writing technique of hyperbole, highlighting the characteristics of the embodiment of things. Or is it realistic? Is it true? System. Do I still need to exaggerate my maneuvers? Of course it's true. Now that technology has biocapture and tracking and analyzing functions, can I, a super intelligent brain, not solve these problems? Wang Fugue. Okay, I'll look at the information on these villas. Eventually, a villa located at the edge of the city center, backed by the Jinghua University and facing the bustling business district, came into view. The villa is set in a quiet garden, surrounded by lush trees, isolated from the hustle and bustle of the city while enjoying the convenience of the city. In the heart of Jinghua City, a magnificent villa stood in a lush green independent garden, and this was the new residence that Wang Fuguei had his eye on. The total area of this villa reached a shocking tens of thousands of square meters, and its scale and luxury was one of the best in Jinghua City. The above-ground portion of the villa consists of 5 floors, each with its own unique function and design. On the first floor is the reception area and communal event space. The spacious living room is large enough to accommodate large social events, with high ceilings and huge floor-to-ceiling windows, giving the whole space a bright and open look. The corner of the living room features an exquisite bar, a perfect place for Wang Fuguei when he has a small gathering with his friends. The second floor is primarily a family living area that includes a fully equipped kitchen, dining room, and family room. The kitchen has an open-plan design with state-of-the-art kitchen appliances to make cooking a pleasure. The dining room is capable of accommodating large parties, while the family room is a private space for the family to relax and entertain. The third floor is the study and office, where there is Wang Fuguei's personal library, with shelves filled with all kinds of professional books and literature. The office, on the other hand, is equipped with the latest office equipment and is where he conducts his academic research and personal affairs. The fourth and fifth floors are private living areas with 10 bedrooms, each with its own bathroom and dressing room. The master bedroom is particularly luxurious, with a huge balcony overlooking the entire garden and city views in the distance. The bedroom is elegantly decorated with a modern touch, and every detail reflects the taste of Wang Fuguei. The basement section has 3 levels, the first of which is an entertainment area that includes a home theater, gym, billiards room, and wine cellar. The acoustics of the home theater are comparable to a professional movie theater, while the gym is equipped with a full set of fitness equipment to satisfy Wang Fuguei's various fitness needs. The billiard room is a great place for him to relax and have fun with friends, while the wine cellar allows him to collect famous wines he has collected from all over the world. On the second basement level is an indoor sports court where you can play basketball, tennis, badminton, etc., as well as a sauna area. The water circulation system in the swimming pool ensures clean water, while the sauna area helps to relax the body and mind. The third underground level houses a high-tech safe room and garage. The safe room secures Wang Fuguei's personal belongings, while the garage has 20 dedicated parking spaces, enough to park his luxury sports car and other vehicles. Of course, there are currently no vehicles. The villa's exterior design is equally impressive, with a large outdoor swimming pool in the separate garden, surrounded by well-manicured lawns and flower beds. Next to the swimming pool is a lounge area with outdoor furniture and barbecue equipment, ideal for summer parties. The entire villa is equipped with a state-of-the-art smart home system, where everything from lighting, air conditioning to security systems can be controlled through smart devices. The security system is even using the latest technology to ensure that the villa is so safe and secure that even a mosquito will find it difficult to enter. The system's access to the villa security system will further enhance villa security. In addition to 360 degrees full-view angle-free monitoring around the villa, it will also be equipped with a warning system, so that unauthorized approaches to the villa up to 20 meters will receive a voice warning. Approaching 10 meters from the villa will result in a red warning. Touching the villa will result in an electrical stimulus, certainly not enough to be fatal, just a warning. Destroying or climbing the villa will be considered trespassing, and the police robots will be directly mobilized to tie them up and restrain them. Entering with an offensive weapon will be judged by the system itself, depending on the aggressiveness. Those with gunpowder, explosives, or thermal weapons will be directly stunned remotely and alarmed. Wang Fuguei was very satisfied with the villa, which not only met all his requirements, but also exceeded his expectations. He knew that this would be the perfect home for him during his time at KYU, a place where he could study in peace, enjoy life, and date his girlfriends. Intelligent robots will take care of all the cleaning as well as meal arrangements, and to have a party, just let the intelligent robots handle it in full. However, Wang Fuguei still has questions. Xiaogao, robot cooking reliable? System. All major cuisines, only the ones you can't name, not the ones she can't make. Wang Fuguei. Then will it be inconvenient for her to go out and buy groceries or something? System. See, here's a picture of the intelligent robot. Wang Fuguei took a look and said, "Crap, where is this a robot? It is clearly everyone's dream girl." Appearance and figure in line with national aesthetics. 168 centimeters. C cup plus 60 centimeters plus 85 centimeters. Black hair, black pupils, white skin, comic legs. Wang Fugue, you call this a robot? If it felt better in the hand, it would be completely indistinguishable from a real person. System. Guess what? The outer material is made to feel close to 98% of a real person. Wang Fugue, NB. How much does this villa cost? System. 2.5 mini goals. Wang Fugue, 666. That by plus finishing. When can I move in? System. 2 days. Wang Fugue, kudos to you. The matter is in your hands. I'll turn in my bag in 2 days. Chapter 48, The Questioning of the Crowd. The night was low, and the main teaching building of Jinghua University looked particularly solemn in the night. Wang Fugue, alone, stepped into the moonlight and returned to the school. His footsteps were light, but his heart was a little apprehensive. The morning's disinterest was just a disguise he used to hide his heart. After all, the results of that audition match meant a lot to him. He walked to the bulletin board and found that although it was already nighttime, the front of the school building was still brightly lit, and a group of students were gathered in front of the bulletin board, seemingly arguing about something. Wang Fugue fixed his eyes and realized that although the number of people was much less than in the morning, there were still quite a few people gathered there. He squeezed into the crowd, his eyes quickly scanning over the rankings. The first place was clearly written with his name, Wang Fugue, with a perfect score of 600 points, 6 courses, 100 points each. His heart burst with excitement, but immediately afterward, the murmurs from the side interrupted his joy. This TM first place score is absolutely problematic. I have checked. Over the years, the qualifiers, in addition to the original genius Lin Yutong, examined 556 points before and after there is no longer more than 550 points. This one called Wang Fugue, who is still a fucking freshman, directly stemmed to a perfect score of 600. There are only 2 possibilities. The first, he's a god. The second, he cheated. A voice rang out in the crowd with obvious dissatisfaction and skepticism. The surrounding people have echoed, these juniors and seniors. For their own test, 300 points or more is already considered a master. For 100 points or more is the school bully. 500 points or more, that is the genius of the school bully. And now, a freshman had gotten a perfect score of 600, which was hard for them to accept. They thought that even if it was the correct answer, different people's steps and thoughts in solving the problem would be different, and Wang Fugue's result was too perfect to be believed. Moreover, I was in the same exam room as him, a 10-hour exam. He handed in his paper in 4 hours, and I heard that the handwriting was still very neat. Isn't this knowing the answers in advance and then directly transcribing them? A student from the front continued, his words causing an even bigger commotion. The group was so excited that the students began to call on their respective classmates to give feedback on the school's intranet and jointly demanded that Wang Fugue's examination paper be published, along with the answers, one by one, for comparison. They argued that even if the answers were correct, the process of solving the questions should be different, so as to prove that Wang Fugue's results were real. Wang Fugue stood in the crowd, listening to the comments. His heart was mixed. He knew that his achievements were gained by virtue of his strength, but he also understood that in this situation, any explanation would pale in comparison. He decided to remain silent and not let his identity be exposed. He quietly withdrew from the crowd, thinking in his heart, the school, faced with such enormous public pressure, will certainly produce evidence and come forward to explain. He didn't need to worry, nor did he need to defend himself. The truth will eventually come out. Wang Fugue had just left the main teaching building not too far away when the cell phone in his pocket suddenly vibrated, and the screen showed that it was an incoming call from his girlfriend Ji Ruming. He pressed the answer button, and Ji Ruming's anxious voice came from the other end of the phone. Fugue, did you take the first place in that whatever qualifier, or was it a perfect score? Wang Fugue replied easily. Yeah, what's wrong? Ji Ruming's voice carried a hint of worry. Now on the school's intranet, more and more people are saying that you were cheating. What should we do? Wang Fugue's tone was calm and firm. I didn't cheat. They can make as much trouble as they like. Just trust me. Of course I believe you, but so many juniors and seniors are crusading against you and talking harder and harder. What should I do? Ji Ruming's voice revealed obvious uneasiness. Wang Fugue comforted. This is nothing. Let nature take its course. First of all, it's useless for me to come out and explain. It's a waste of time. And secondly, after the public opinion has become big, the school will come out to explain and produce evidence. I was keeping my hand in the exam paper, and it definitely wasn't quite the same as the regular school answers. There is no need to worry unduly as the clearer person is clearer. Ji Ruming seemed slightly more relieved. Oh, well then, rest early. Mua Wang Fugue responded gently, then hung up the phone. However, the phone soon rang again. Wang Fugue thought that Ji Ruming still had something to explain and picked up the phone with a smile. Wife, any more instructions? A cough came from the other end, followed by an unfamiliar yet familiar voice. I'm your counselor, Lin Yutong. Wang Fugue almost dropped his cell phone. A look at the caller ID. It was really the counselor. He hurriedly smiled and said, It's the counselor, just now on the phone with his girlfriend. Mistaken. No blame, no blame. Lin Yutong's voice was calm and serious. Nothing. Do you know what I'm looking for you for? Wang Fugue said directly. There's no need to guess, counselor, just say it. Lin Yutong said bluntly. The preliminaries exams have a large number of questions and are so difficult that even if it were me, it would take more than 8 hours to do them all, and the score wouldn't be more than 560. Wang Fugue frowned after hearing this. What does the counselor mean? Lin Yutong continued. I'll be blunt. If you have the ability to get the answers, it means that you have heavenly skills or connections, but the qualifying rounds are just the beginning. Even if you were selected, there are still elimination rounds between colleges and universities behind, as well as intensive training and elimination rounds after the intensive training. And if you don't have the strength, you will be eliminated very soon, and you will leave a very bad reputation. So I hope that if you're using unnatural means, you hang back as soon as possible before things fester to the point of being unmanageable. Wang Fugue was silent for a moment, then slowly asked, Has my answer sheet counselor read it? Lin replied, No, I'm too busy to get involved in rewriting papers or anything like that. Wang Fugue said unsteadily, Counselor, let me tell you an indisputable fact. Genius, that being that shines with the spark of innovation, tends to stroll on a lonely path in its time. Their thoughts, like shooting stars breaking through the night sky, illuminate the way forward, but they are also often obscured from understanding by the dust of the time. Geniuses see beyond the ordinary, and their minds jump in dimensions that are hard for ordinary people to reach. They see the blueprint of the future, the dawn of change, while those around them stare at the ground beneath their feet, unable to glimpse the universe in the mind of the genius. Their words, full of depth and wisdom, are often seen as heretical because they challenge the status quo and subvert tradition. But it is these uncomprehending geniuses that have driven the progress of human civilization. Unafraid of loneliness and misunderstanding, they prove their worth with their strong beliefs and tireless efforts. History will bear witness that it was these once misunderstood geniuses who became the pioneers who led the way. Chapter 49. Public Opinion Out of Control. Lin Yutong was silent on the other end of the phone for a moment, then said, Okay, I believe you. But you must understand that your behavior has attracted a lot of attention, not only within the school, but even from the outside world. You have to be ready to face all the questions and challenges. Wang Fugue firmly replied, The most powerful retort given to these people is to hit them in the face with facts. Lin Yutong. Okay, after this, I'll treat you to dinner to make amends. Wang Fugue. Don't worry, it will be finalized soon. Counselor notification, prepare your wallet. I won't save you money. Lin Yutong was amused by him. It's still no problem to buy a meal on my salary. Besides, just call me cousin in private. Wang Fugue. We are not related by blood. How can I call you cousin? Lin Yutong was exasperated. It's not that, well, that's it. After that, he hung up the phone. On the other end of the phone, Lin Yutong sat quietly at her desk. The phone in her hand had been hung up, but her heartbeat was hardly calmed. Her fingers gently touched the edge of the phone, a feeling welling up in her heart that she had never felt before. As an experienced professor and counselor, she had always faced her students in a calm and professional manner. But tonight, the call with Wang Fugue complicated her feelings. Lin Yutong closed his eyes and took a deep breath, trying to calm his thoughts. She recalled the conversation she had just had, Wang Fugue's relaxed tone, and his humor when he flirted with herself, all of which made her feel both surprised and delighted. She couldn't help but ask herself what was wrong with her. Why would you be so sensitive to a student's phone call, and instead of getting angry even when being flirted with, feel your heart race a little? She knows that as a counselor, she has a responsibility to monitor and guide her students' academic behavior. Wang Fugue's unusually impressive accomplishments had caught her attention, and she had to make sure it was all based on fairness and honesty. However, when she heard Wang Fugue's confident and firm voice, a sense of trust unexpectedly arose within her. This feeling confused her because as a scholar, she was supposed to base her work on facts and evidence, not on intuition. Lin Yutong stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the night sky. She's having a fierce internal battle. On the one hand, her rationality as a professor told her that she had to remain skeptical of Wang Fugue's accomplishments until all the evidence proved his innocence. On the other hand, her sixth sense as a woman told her that Wang Fugue was not the kind of student who would cheat, and that his confidence and talent were real. She shook her head gently, trying to rid herself of these tangled thoughts. She knew that she couldn't let her personal feelings cloud her professional judgment. She needed to remain objective. She needed to wait for the results of the school's investigation. She needed to see Wang Fugue's answers and evidence before she could make a final judgment. If you're wrong about him, apologize to him and buy him dinner. On the other end, Wang Fugue felt that since things had developed to this point, it would be better to simply let the storm come harder. Xiao Gao. Wang Fugue called out softly. I'm here. What's your command? The system's voice rang in his head. The corner of Wang Fugue's mouth hooked up a smile. The report about me cheating on the exam, let it be a little more violent and spread a little wider and farther. The system was silent for a moment, then responded, then I'll go through the internet and spread this matter with added fuel so that more people will come to scold you, and in the end, the school will step in and come up with a big reversal. Wang Fugue nodded, a hint of anticipation flashing in his eyes. Right, that's what it means. Okay, tomorrow morning, you will see that the whole country is spreading the news, and the number one hot search will definitely be you. There was a hint of teasing in the system's voice. As Wang Fugue's plan began to be implemented, the system, a superbrain, acted quickly to spread the news of Wang Fugue's suspected cheating through the internet. The news spread like wildfire, quickly spreading throughout the school and even spreading to the entire online world. The faculty and students of Kyowa University were overwhelmed with anger, unable to accept that their school, the number one institution in the country, was facing such a scandal because of a student's grades. Instead of cooling down as the night deepened, the atmosphere on campus intensified. On the internet, more and more netizens began to slam Wang Fugue and Tsinghua University, believing that the school should give an explanation to all the people of the country. Various netizens, microblogging versus, and some counterfeiters have joined this public opinion war, cursing Wang Fugue and Tsinghua University to gain eyeballs and traffic. And many teachers of Tsinghua University are still in the dark, part of the understanding of the situation, but also just think that this is an ordinary suspected examination cheating incident, and did not take it to heart. It wasn't until the next morning, when Principal Kai Yuan received an inquiry from his superiors, that he realized that his school had been in such a public storm. He immediately set up an investigative team, and also deployed the public relations team of the university's publicity department to try to calm the storm. However, there seems to be an invisible hand driving this matter, and whenever the school tries to explain, new questions and public pressure always follow. The school just came out to explain that all processes are reasonable and compliant. The examination is fair and impartial. Wang Fugue students' examination papers after a dozen teachers to check, there is really no problem. But right away, a hot post appeared online about the sheer size of this world modeling contest and the competition among the country's colleges and universities. The post analyzes the history of the preliminaries of BJU over the past 20 years, pointing out that only one person, Lin Yutong, has ever scored a high score of 556 points, and that apart from her, there is no other genius who has scored more than 550 points. And this Wang Fugue actually got a perfect score of 600 points. What makes people even more puzzled is that Lin Yutong is exactly Wang Fugue's tutor. Whether there are any ulterior secrets and relationships in this is worth speculating. When this hot post came out, it went straight to the number one hot search, and it also put Kyowa University in the limelight once again. Wang Fugue stood in front of the window and watched all of this unfold, a satisfied smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. Wang Fugue pushed open the door of his dormitory, and three strange gazes fell on him in unison. His housemates, who usually got along quite well, were at the moment looking at him as if he were a stranger. Their eyes were laced with suspicion, distrust, and even a hint of dislike. Wang Fugue smiled bitterly in his heart. He understood that in this world, geniuses were often not understood. He decided that it was time to move out of this suffocating environment and head for his new home, the luxurious villa in the center of town. Early the next morning, Wang Fugue's cell phone vibrated with an anxious call from Ji Rumming. There was a hint of panic in her voice. Fugue, where are you? Some unknown students in the school are saying that they're going to find you and take you out. Hurry up and hide. Don't let them find you. Chapter 50 Investigations. Wang Fuguei didn't expect that the system would act so quickly and that things would get so big. He quickly put on his hat and mask and hurriedly left the dormitory, taking a taxi straight to the villa. The villa has just closed, and the cleaning robots are busy cleaning every corner. Wang Fuguei commanded the robot to clean the area he was about to live in first. Soon the cleaning of the 4th and 5th floors was complete. Wang Fuguei took the private elevator straight to the top of the building, lying on a lounge chair under the umbrella, holding a cup of freshly squeezed juice in his hand, looking out at the hustle and bustle of the city in the distance. The tranquility of the place contrasts with the hustle and bustle of the city, as if they were two very different worlds. Just then the phone rang again, an incoming call from the counselor, Lin Yutong. Wang Fuguei picked up the phone and smiled easily. "Cousin, why are you calling me so early?" Lin Yutong's voice sounded a bit anxious. "You still have a smile on your face. Your matter has suddenly fermented rapidly on the internet, and it's already on the #1 hot search. Now they're all suspecting me, saying that I have an unsavory relationship with you." Wang Fuguei flirted. "It's a pity that this isn't true. I'd like it to be true." Lin Yutong's face reddened, but quickly regained his seriousness. "Still have the heart to joke around. Hurry up and hide. Some students are very radical now. They might do something drastic." Wang Fuguei comforted. "I'm outside at a relative's house. It's fine. They can't find me." Lin Yutong breathed a sigh of relief. "That's good." Wang Fuguei said easily. "Cousin, you too. Be careful and don't go out yet. Public opinion is too scary. For the first time I feel that public opinion can kill." Lin Yutong was deeply moved. "Okay, I'm not going out today either. Don't worry, it's fine." Hanging up the phone, Wang Fuguei slumped back into the chair and closed his eyes, enjoying this rare tranquility. He knew that the storm would eventually pass, and he, in its wake, would shine even brighter. In a spacious conference room deep in the bowels of Kyowa University, the lights were bright and the atmosphere was tense. School leaders and teachers sat around a long table from morning until dark, facing computers, textbooks, and a thick paper. Their brows were furrowed, and the pens in their hands moved quickly over the paper. The pressure of public opinion and inquiries from the higher-ups have given this institution a sense of urgency it has never felt before. In order to find out the truth, the school quickly set up an investigation team to thoroughly investigate the entire qualifying process. When Wang Fuguei received the call from the school, his voice was calm and confident. "All the evidence is on my exam paper." The 30 or so teachers immediately began their intense work as they meticulously compared the questions, Wang Fuguei's answers, and the correct answers. Time passed by, and the air in the conference room almost froze, with only the sound of pen tips scratching on paper and the occasional whisper. Several hours later, all the teachers checked, and their expressions gradually changed from initial skepticism and disbelief to surprise, admiration, and finally settled on shock. They came up with an astonishing fact. It was impossible for Wang Fuguei to cheat. First of all, for those slightly simpler questions, Wang Fuguei's method and technique of answering the questions were surprisingly better than the standard answers, with fewer steps and clearer logic, which made the professional teachers marvel. Secondly, for those topics that were a little more complicated, Wang Fuguei not only provided answers that were not far from the standard answers, but also gave additional second and third solutions, and some of them even had as many as 10 different ways of solving the problems, each of which was concise and clear, showing his extraordinary mathematical talent. The original comparison could have been done in 2 hours. However, the last big question in math. The most shocking thing is that in the last big question in the math topic, Wang Fuguei actually proved the basic theory of Hodge's conjecture directly with 2 pages. In order to verify the rigor and correctness of Wang Fuguei's theory, all the prestigious professors of the Department of Mathematics rushed over, and all of them were either together or alone there checking the calculations. Late at night, the mathematical verification team, which was divided into 5 groups, finally came to a unified conclusion that Wang Fuguei's verification process and the logic of thought were completely correct, and that he had solved the mathematical problems that had plagued mankind for more than 100 years. It's hard to imagine that this problem was actually solved in an exam, and it's even harder to imagine that it was solved by a student who is less than 19 years old. This core problem in algebraic geometry has always been a difficult problem in mathematics, and Wang Fuguei's proof was so concise and profound that it made the math teachers and professors present cover their faces and cry. They knew that Tsinghua University was about to rise because of a genius like Wang Fuguei, and becoming a world-class university was just around the corner. Teachers agreed that as long as Wang Fugue's answer sheet is made public, with notes next to it explaining the genius of his solution, and then attaching the school's standard answer, a comparison will be made, and the difference will be immediately judged. In today's Dragon Country, or even the entire world, no one could do better than Wang Fugue. Those voices that questioned his plagiarism seemed so pale in front of this answer sheet. Copying who? Copy you? In one part of Kyoto University, President Kai Yuan's office was brightly lit. He sat at his desk, the report heavy in his hands, the final report just submitted by the school's investigative team. The report recorded in detail the results of the verification of Wang Fugue's examination answer sheet, proving his innocence and revealing his extraordinary talent. No, using extraordinary talent to describe it is still demeaning Wang Fugue. This is a splash of riches sprinkled on Tsinghua University. The director of the admissions office who scooped up Wang Fugue in the first place is going to give him a chicken leg tomorrow? No, processing his salary. President Kai Yuan knew that this report, once made public, would cause an uproar. Originally, the school planned to hold a press conference in the school's academic auditorium to explain it all to the public. However, the number of media outlets and newspapers and magazines that signed up to apply for participation far exceeded expectations. With more than 500 media outlets, plus a variety of staff, the site needs to be able to accommodate nearly 10,000 people. The academic lecture hall is clearly unable to meet such needs. Principal Kai Yuan suddenly had a flash of inspiration. He understood that someone was pushing behind this, or else the exams within the school, even if they were cheating, they wouldn't make such a big deal. Since someone wanted to play, Kai Yuan would play bigger with them. To make this launch a milestone in the history of KYU, he immediately picked up the phone and contacted the person in charge of the Olympic Sports Center in the capital, requesting a temporary loan of the venue that could hold 50,000 people to hold the conference. Under the night, the staff of the Olympic Sports Center is busy. Stage construction, lighting debugging, sound installation, everything is in order. President Kai Yuan stayed up all night, standing in the center of the arena, watching it all with great anticipation. The main venue for the launch is located in the center of the arena, and media personnel will be positioned on the stage and directly in front of it, while others, such as netizens and microbloggers, will watch from the periphery. The general audience is directed to the auditorium. Meanwhile, at 12 o'clock in the evening, the official website of Kyoto University issued a notice. Chapter 51, People Fear Fame and Pigs Fear Strength. Kyoto University External Circular. Honorable faculty, students, alumni, and community members. Recently, the incident about our student, Mr. Wang Fugue, who has achieved excellent results in an academic competition, has aroused widespread concern and discussion. Hereby, King's University attaches great importance to this matter and would like to announce the following. 1. Don't believe in rumors, don't spread rumors. We call on our teachers and students, as well as people from all walks of life, to remain alert to unconfirmed information, not to believe in rumors, not to spread rumors, and to work together to maintain a clear online environment. 2. Maintaining rationality and restraint. In the face of online public opinion, we should remain calm and rational, and avoid doing things that violate the law as a result of emotional speech and behavior. We believe that rational discussion and lawful expression are the right way to solve problems. 3. Press conference. BGU will hold a press conference tomorrow at 12 noon at the Olympic Sports Center in the capital city to provide a detailed and convincing explanation of the whole matter. We look forward to providing a transparent and open information platform through this conference. 4. National live streaming. In view of the limited capacity of the Olympic Sports Center in the capital, with a maximum of 50,000 people, we recommend that you do not travel to the site if you do not have to. The school will broadcast the live national broadcast via television and the internet to ensure that everyone can watch the proceedings from home on their TVs, computers, cell phones, and other devices. 5. Philosophy. As a prestigious university with a long history, BGU has always adhered to the philosophy of science, democracy, self-strengthening, and virtue, and has insisted on a serious, scientific, and rigorous attitude of governance. We will continue to dedicate ourselves to cultivating outstanding talents with innovative spirit and sense of social responsibility, and contribute to the progress and development of the society. 6. Acknowledgement of support. We sincerely thank the faculty, students, alumni, and people from all walks of life for their consistent support and assistance to BJU. In the days to come, we look forward to continuing to receive your attention and support, and to witnessing the new development and splendor of BJU together. BGU will always adhere to the original heart and mission of education, and with an open mind and firm belief, we will meet every challenge and create more splendor. Let's go hand in hand to create a better future. University of Beijing, September 15th, 2024, in the Dragon Kingdom era. It occurred to President Cai Yuan that the launch would be nationally televised the next day at 12 o'clock noon. At this point in time, both commuters and students have the opportunity to watch this live stream. He believes that the number of viewers will be staggering. Through this launch, BGU will take this opportunity to further increase its visibility and step into the international arena. Meanwhile, Wang Fuguei had already left the school to escape the outside world. Principal Cai Yuan nodded in his mind as he learned the news. He believed that Wang Fuguei's temporary refuge would add more mystery to the conference and attract more attention. As soon as the announcement from Tsinghua University came out, the entire online world seemed to be set ablaze, with the news spreading rapidly like wildfire. People are talking, some are posting their opinions on social media, while others have already started planning a trip to the capital's Olympic Sports Center to see the biggest buzz of the year for themselves. Time slipped by in anticipation and nervousness, and before you knew it, the following day's noon hour arrived. The entrance to the Olympic Sports Center in the capital was crowded with people. The arena, which could only hold 50,000 people, was flooded with close to 60,000 people. For security reasons, the organizers had to cordon off the outside of the arena and prohibit anyone from re-entering. Nonetheless, the excitement has not abated. Meanwhile, the press conference was held as scheduled in the arena. Principal Cai Yuan walked up to the podium, his face serious and solemn. Multiple huge screens displayed his image at the same time, ensuring that everyone in the distant audience could see him clearly. Principal Cai Yuan first briefly recounted the cause and course of the incident, after which he announced the conclusions of the school's investigation team. He knew that many people still had doubts in their hearts, so he decided to directly publicize the question paper, the standard answers, and Wang Fuguei's answer sheet for this examination. He explained the results in a detailed comparison so that everyone present could clearly see Wang Fuguei's true level. During the conference, Principal Cai Yuan mentioned the school's future prevention and response to similar incidents. He emphasized the following areas. 1. Strengthening education on academic integrity. The university will intensify its efforts to educate students and faculty on academic integrity to ensure that every student and faculty member has a deep understanding of the importance of academic integrity as a cornerstone of academic activities. 2. Improvement of the examination monitoring system. In order to prevent future cheating, the university will upgrade and improve the examination monitoring system, including video surveillance, identity verification, and other technical means, to ensure the fairness and transparency of the examination. 3. Establishment of a rapid response mechanism. The university will establish a rapid response mechanism to promptly investigate any allegations of academic misconduct and to keep the public informed of the progress and outcome of the investigation. 4. Improved transparency of information disclosure. President Cai Yuan promises that the university will further improve the transparency of information disclosure, and that important academic events and achievements will be released in a timely manner through official channels in order to reduce misunderstandings and rumors. 5. Strengthening communication and cooperation with the media. The school will strengthen its communication and cooperation with the media to ensure that, in the face of a crisis of public opinion, it can accurately and timely convey the school's position and information and safeguard the school's reputation. 6. To develop a professional response team. The school plans to develop a professional crisis response team specialized in dealing with similar incidents to ensure that the rights and interests of students and the school can be effectively protected in the event of a crisis. Through these measures, President Cai Yuan expresses BGU's strong commitment to maintaining the academic environment and enhancing its crisis management capabilities, while also demonstrating to the public the university's preparedness and confidence for the challenges ahead. With Principal Cai Yuan's explanation, the crowd's doubts gradually dissipated and were replaced by admiration and marveling at Wang Fuguei. The press conference lasted only an hour, but it set off wave after wave of discussion on the internet, like a giant wave. More and more scholars have come forward, explaining that Wang Fuguei's solutions are clear, simple, and straightforward, even higher than those of many university professors. His solutions are varied and incorporate a variety of theories, and if one is not well-versed in multiple courses, one may not even be able to fully comprehend his answers. The most shocking thing is that Wang Fuguei has solved the Hodge conjecture that has plagued all mankind for more than 100 years. The news quickly traveled abroad. Many professors from prestigious schools abroad, after seeing the sunshine verification method, immediately invested a lot of manpower and resources to start checking the logic and correctness of this process. Chapter 52, A Reversal of Public Opinion. After verifying Wang Fugui's proof on Hodge's conjecture, they have supported Wang Fugui as well as Tsinghua University with their real names. The names of Tsinghua University and Wang Fugui instantly spread all over the world, and Wang Fugui was hailed as another super genius after Qian Lao, expected to lead the domestic and even global science theory and technology to a new level. However, for Wang Fugui, the transformation made him cry. He originally just wanted a quiet environment to lie down and pick up girls, but he didn't expect that he would become the center of attention of the world because of an exam. People are afraid of being famous, and being too famous isn't always a good thing. His life will be turned upside down as a result. In the huge wave of online public opinion, Wang Fugui's name is like a bright star, looked up to by countless people. What was once skepticism and criticism has turned into endless praise and adoration. There was even a tendency to deify Wang Fugui. Netizens were unprecedentedly unanimous in the comments section as they expressed their awe and envy for the learned man. Some people have turned over the video of Wang Fugui's interview during the college entrance examination, when he was so spirited and sharp that many people had criticized him for being too arrogant and not knowing how to be modest. Now, however, the comments below those videos are a different story. The most liked comments were full of banter and admiration. It's normal for the god of learning to despise a scum. It's just that some people don't show it. If I fucking had this level, I wouldn't be asking the proposition team to step up their game, and I wouldn't be sorry for the perfect score if I didn't shout out heaven and earth. Only I am the only one. If it were me, I'd just put 8 big words on someone's face. By heaven's command, both life and eternity. Public opinion at home and abroad unanimously demanded that Wang Fugui come out and show up and talk about his feelings. However, Wang Fugui laughed bitterly at this. He didn't want to be the center of attention. He longed for a quiet academic environment and a deeper exploration of knowledge. System. I'll believe the hell out of you. You bad old man is bad. Wang Fugui. Well, what I crave is a cozy home for the schoolgirls of various schools as well as S-class beauties. System. Get your body and kidneys right first. Less objects now is protecting you. Wang Fugui. Then is it possible to strengthen my body to the extreme 7 nights at a time? System. 7 years at a time is fine. Go for it hard. Wang Fugui. MB+. At that moment, an unfamiliar phone call came in. It turned out to be the principal, Kai Yuan, who contacted Wang Fugui to ask his opinion on holding a press conference. Fugui students, we respect your opinion. Wang Fugui replied, Headmaster, public opinion is too prevalent right now, and it's easy to be cited for coming out. And I want to quietly be a beautiful man. No, quietly do my studies. Please help me put it off. Principal Kai Yuan nodded understandingly. Good. Then are there any other difficulties that need to be resolved? A genius like you must be given special preferential treatment. Wang Fugui shook his head. Financially, there is no need. I have a house to live in the neighborhood, so I won't live in school. Also, the classes I don't want to go to, just take the final exam. Principal Kai Yuan smiled. That's no problem. It's just that the next college elimination tournament will require Fugui students to work harder. We haven't done too well these past few years. Wang Fugui was confident. This is no problem. Please tell the team leader at that time, I'll dominate the game. If I don't take the first place, I'll take the blame. No, how can I not take the first place? The first place can't be any other university except Tsinghua University. Principal Kai Yuan said approvingly. Good, I just want young people to be confident, so make your own arrangements and just be safe. Okay, bye, Principal. Wang Fugui hung up the phone, his eyes glittering with anticipation for the future and desire for knowledge. In this storm of public opinion, Wang Fugui chose to keep a low profile and focus, knowing that true achievement does not depend on fame and attention, but on continuous efforts and persistent pursuit of academics. Of course, the most important thing is that being too famous is not conducive to flirting. Look at all those big stars. Walking a dog on the street can make the news. If Wang Fugui was very famous, how else could he go about realizing his lofty ideals? With the passage of time, Wang Fugui's name gradually faded from people's sight. Tsinghua University's cold treatment strategy, coupled with Wang Fugui's own low profile, made this once sensational public opinion storm slowly subside. However, when the day of the college elimination tournament arrived, Wang Fugue once again became the center of attention. Wang Fugue and the second through fourth place finishers of the BGU qualifiers formed the BGU team, with him as captain and the fourth place finishers as reserves. Since the elimination match was held in the capital, JHU enjoyed a home field advantage. And with Wang Fugue's popularity on the rise, many consider JHU to be a strong contender for the title. But behind the scenes, 9 schools ranked 2nd through 10th in the country have secretly formed the A9 League, and they have vowed to team up to knock out KYU in the elimination rounds. The rules of the elimination tournament are well known. The first round is a written test in which the 3 regular players take a closed book exam out of 300 points. The second round was a robocall, where the 100 institutions were divided into 10 groups, and each question was worth 10 points out of 300. The third round was a modeling competition, which required the creation of a statistical model of the data that met the requirements. Once the model was successfully built, it was entered into the 100 sets of data specified by the competition, and the theoretical results produced through statistics, the closer it was to the final answer, which meant that the modeling was more successful and scored a higher score out of a total of 500 points. This year, a special new rule has been added that if there is a groundbreaking contribution to current theoretical dilemmas in the exam, additional points may be awarded after discussion by the panel. This rule seems to be tailor-made for Wang Fugue and is meant to encourage everyone to learn from Wang Fugue and strive for innovation and breakthroughs. However, the A9 Alliance has secretly planned its strategy. They contacted other weaker schools and planned to scramble for answers whenever they faced off against the KYU team in the second round, even if the questions hadn't been read out yet. The consequence of this is that KYU will not be able to score in the second round, while their opponents will be deducted 300 points for wrong answers, which doesn't matter. On the day of the game, the BOE players walked onto the field with confidence. As the captain, Wang Fugue's eyes revealed calmness and determination. The day of the competition finally arrived, and the team from Kyowa University walked into the examination room amidst much anticipation. The bell rang for the first round of closed-book written exams, and an atmosphere of tension and anticipation filled the exam room. However, shortly after the match began, 3 of Wang Fugue's teammates turned pale and covered their stomachs with painful expressions. With emergency arrangements made by staff, they were taken to a nearby hospital for medical attention. Wang Fugue sat in the examination room, and an ominous premonition rose in his heart. It's too much of a coincidence that 3 teammates got sick at the same time. Chapter 53, Full-Scale Targeting. He had to wonder if someone was secretly behind this, or if his teammates were being paid off. He knew deep down that if he wanted to strike, it would be most effective to strike directly at him, Wang Fugue. But now that he is the only one left in the first round, he must face the challenge alone. Wang Fugue got the test paper and had a decision in his heart. It was decided that instead of going off the beaten path, the special rules of the competition would be used to try to solve a long-standing problem in mathematics. He quickly finished answering all the questions with 2 hours left on the clock. Faced with a big final problem in math, he decided to challenge the Riemann conjecture, one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in mathematics. The Riemann conjecture, which involves Riemannian zeta functions in the complex plane, asserts that the real part of all non-trivial zeros is 1/2, and has deep connections to number theory, prime number distributions, and other areas of mathematics. Wang Fugue took a deep breath, his pen danced rapidly on the test paper, and in the next 2 hours, he argued the Riemann conjecture in 5 full pages. However, he knew in his heart that the teachers of the organizing committee might have difficulty in fully understanding his proof due to the difficulty of the content. If it is not possible to verify the correctness of his conjecture, there are no additional bonus points. The exam time is over, and the papers are collected. Only one person, Wang Fugue, from the KYU team competed and completed the exam. The people from the A9 Alliance were secretly pleased in their hearts, and they thought that even if Wang Fugue scored a perfect score on the first round of the exam, he had no score on the second round, and even if he scored a perfect score on the third round, his total score could not be more than 600 points. And the best of the best in the A9 League can get around 250 points in the first round. In the second round, have the other 9 teams playing in the same bracket not rush the answer, and let the A9 League team take their time to think about their answer, which should result in 250 points or more. All you need is 200 points in the final round, and your total score will be over 700. Even the weaker teams in the A9 could push KYU out of the top 8 and out of the pool with 601 points. As for whether or not Wang Fugue would be able to perform another miracle, everyone was skeptical. They think that Wang Fugue's stunning performance last time should be a problem that was solved in the usual way, and it is just a matter of writing out the verification process in the exam. How can an unsolved mystery of hundreds of years be solved in just a few hours? And the first round of this tournament only took 4 hours total. As the second round began, the ominous premonition in Wang Fugue's heart gradually turned into reality. No sooner had the moderator's voice pronounced the first word than it was snatched up by a team from an unnamed school. Since none of the questions were heard in full, the answers were naturally unknowable, and the school's team was deducted 20 points as a result. The audience and judges were in an uproar and cringed. Was this a contest of knowledge or a competition of whose hand was faster? For the next 29 questions, the situation was the same. Whenever the moderator speaks, that team snaps to press the grabber first, and they know nothing about the answer to the question. Wang Fugue had realized that he would not be able to gain any points in this round after this situation occurred in the first question. The opponent's strategy is obvious. It's a premeditated field day. Wang Fugue simply sat there with his hands clasped to his chest, calmly observing the other team's performances. The second round ended quickly, but Wang Fugue's heart was unusually calm. At lunchtime, Wang Fugue learned from his team leader that 3 of his teammates were temporarily unable to compete due to acute gastroenteritis, and that he would have to face the afternoon's third round alone. The third round was very different from the first 2 rounds in that it required team members to divide up the work and work together to create the model. But now, Wang Fugue must do the work of 3 people by himself, completing a series of complex tasks such as analysis, calculation, statistics, and model output within a limited period of 3 hours. Normally, even a normal model with the answer given to you would take about 2 hours for a person to knock the model code and underlying database into a computer. The most time-consuming part, however, is analyzing the topic and defining the problem to be solved, and then building a huge database and deduction center based on all possible variables. A person given 12 hours would have a hard time accomplishing this, even the best in the A9 league. Wang Fugue was faced with an almost impossible challenge. The third round began with a topic so small in word count that it took a quick glance: modeling complex ecosystems. Create a self-consistent ecosystem that includes a wide range of organisms, climatic conditions, geographic features, and food chains, using the example of the giant panda habitat in the Dragon Kingdom. Models are required to demonstrate species interactions, ability to adapt to environmental change, and ecosystem response to external disturbances. Simply put, this ecosystem model needs to include all the panda-infested areas within the dragon, the unique geographic features, all the organisms, and the patterns of development under certain climatic conditions, and the ecological impact of external disturbances. Relevant information can be searched online, and it takes a lot of time just to search for this information. And writing these variables within the model is even more of a massive amount of work. The organizing committee didn't expect any of the teams to be able to fully produce this huge ecological model. It is also a way to avoid models that are too simple and have too many full scores. So let everyone answer incomplete and then give points based on completion. The moment the match started, Wang Fugue let the super brain skin the topic and directly generate a data model. The intellectual brain's computing speed was beyond imagination, and after less than a second's thought, it gave the optimal solution to the model. This solution accomplishes the highest precision statistics and outputs standardized answers with the least number of steps, the least amount of memory usage, and the least amount of computation. Wang Fugue knew that he had to act as if he had solved the problem himself. So he pretended to meditate, sometimes scratching his head, sometimes gazing into the distance, as if he were engaged in a fierce inner struggle with a difficult problem. Half an hour later, he began frantically tapping the keyboard in front of the computer, typing in the models and codes given by the brain. The audience and judges witnessed this scene and were all shocked by Wang Fugue's concentration and speed. They watched Wang Fugue's screen as codes and data flashed by rapidly, and a complex mathematical model and algorithm took shape under his fingertips, as if they were watching a wonderful magic show. The standard answer requires the use of huge amounts of network data as well as code. A faster-handed coder would take about 2 hours to tap in all that code. Wang Fugue sat in front of the computer, his eyes like a torch, his fingers leaping on the keyboard as if he was playing a stirring symphony. He knew that this modeling competition was not only a test of his personal ability, but also a challenge to his tacit cooperation with the superbrain. The standard answer requires the use of huge amounts of network data and complex code, which can take even the most skilled coder about 2 hours to tap in. Chapter 54, First Failure. However, Wang Fuge completed the code in just 1 hour after spending half an hour in front of him for deep thinking. Taking a total of 90 minutes, he completed this complex modeling task, an almost impossible miracle in the eyes of the judges. As all the teams finished their works one after another, the 20 jury experts divided into 5 groups and started to demonstrate the modeling models of each team one by one on the public big screen. The scene lightened up, but there were a lot of jokes going on. Some of the team's models kept reporting errors at runtime and could not be executed at all, and were awarded 0 points outright. There are also model results that are far from reality. For example, during the Qingming Festival, the local rainfall reaches 22 millimeters, and there are 48 adult male pandas, 37 adult female pandas, and 12 cubs in the local area. The number of each age group is normally distributed. So what will happen to the growth of the local bamboos 1 month later in the local ecological environment? Instead, the results show a desert for crying out loud. The order in which the models were validated for accuracy was arranged in reverse order of the school's national ranking for that year. The KYU team was the last to be validated because they were ranked first in the country. Before them, the good scores were basically concentrated in the top 20 school teams. The best performer was Manhwa University, which ranked third, with a model relevance of 76%, and according to the rules of the competition, they received a high score of 380 points. Finally, it was the turn of the Kyoto University team. The judges looked at the code submitted by Wang Fugue with skepticism. This code is only 1/10 the length of the standard answer, and they wondered if such a model could really calculate the correct result. The people from the A9 Alliance were gloating on the side. They thought that even if Wang Fugue's model scored a perfect score, it wouldn't be able to help Tsinghua University enter the top 8. Although the judges had the same thought in their minds, they decided to respect Wang Fugue's efforts and creative achievements. As 100 sets of data were entered, the results were unexpected. Not only did Wang Fugue's model run without error, but the results were indistinguishable from the standard answer. This model, which is less than 1/10th the computational effort of the standard answer, is almost the optimal solution under today's conditions. The judges and teachers were shocked as they realized that Wang Fuge was a one-of-a-kind existence in terms of personal strength. Even if the Tsinghua University team was eventually eliminated, they were determined to convince the organizing committee to break Wang Fugue into the training camp. In the end, the score tally showed that the A9 League schools unquestionably took the top 9 spots, while the KYU team won 10th place with 600 points. As the final results were announced, Wang Fugue's heart was filled with helplessness. He knew he had done his best, scoring perfect scores in all of his individual events, but he felt more challenged than ever in the face of such a targeted strategy. He stood up, nodded to the leader, and the two left the tournament together. For Wang Fugue, the awards ceremony for the first 8 in the back was no longer important, and he only had the contemplation of the results in his mind. The nationally watched intercollegiate elimination tournament came to a successful conclusion that night, amidst applause and murmurs. However, Wang Fugue's brilliant argument about the Riemann conjecture on the paper was ultimately ruled invalid because the judges could not understand it. After the competition, most of the judges were busy bonding, having dinner and drinks, except for one silent young judge. The Riemann conjecture argument in Wang Fugue's test paper was sent by electronic fax to his teacher at the Royal Academy of Adalai, in the hope that he would help to identify its value. Shortly afterward, the results of the college elimination tournament appeared on television screens and the internet. The audience was surprised to find that the once academic giant, Tsinghua University, was only ranked 10th, not in the top 8. Wang Fugue's black fans took the opportunity to become arrogant, posting sarcastic comments and questions on the internet. Some people pointed out that in the past, Tsinghua University had never fallen out of the top 8, and it was undoubtedly ironic that Wang Fugue, who was known as the god of learning, was directly eliminated as soon as he entered the competition. Some people even broke the news that Wang Fugue scored 0 points in the second round of robocalls, which, in their opinion, questioned Wang Fugue's knowledge reserve and ability to react on the spot, and some even began to doubt his previous perfect score. Public opinion was like a raging storm, pushing Wang Fugue and Tsinghua University into the limelight. The god of learning who was once held in high regard is now being stepped on. President Cai Yuan, who knows the inside story, is also deeply helpless. And the result is that BJU is indeed eliminated, and there is no need to issue a notice or hold a press conference. At this time, the more you explain, it is like sinking deeper into the mire. It will sink deeper and deeper, so the far-sighted President Kai Yuan can only choose to be silent. In the midst of this public outcry, Ji Rumeng and Yueshi, Lin Yutong, and Principal Kai Yuan called Wang Fuguei privately to comfort him. They told Wang Fuguei that he had performed well enough, and that perfect scores in the first and third rounds were enough to prove his strength. But even the strongest players will struggle to turn the tide in the face of the surprises of the first game and the targeted strategy of the second. Wang Fuguei took it all in stride, knowing that his worth could not be defined by one match. At the villa, he invited Ji Rumeng to comfort him. In the cozy living room of the villa, Wang Fuguei and Ji Rumeng were sitting on the soft sofa with a peaceful night outside the window. The conversation between the two is relaxed and cozy, away from the tension of the game and the hustle and bustle of the outside world. Blue, the intelligent robot, prepares a nice dinner and opens a bottle of 81 wine and lights a few candles. Wang Fuguei pretended to be in a heavy mood as he accompanied Ji Rumeng for a romantic dinner. Seeing that Wang Fuguei looked a bit depressed because of the result of the match, Ji Rumeng's heart was filled with tenderness and determination. She knew that Wang Fuguei was a strong person inside, but even the strongest person had moments when he needed comfort and support. Ji Rumeng decided to give Wang Fuguei all-round care and warmth spiritually, psychologically, and physically. Mentally, Ji Rumeng patiently listens to Wang Fuguei and makes him feel understood and accepted. Encourage Wang Fuguei to pour out his heart's dissatisfaction and disappointment, and tell him that failure is just a hiccup on the road to success, and that a truly strong person is one who can stand up in the midst of setbacks. Psychologically, Ji Rumeng uses her gentleness and wisdom to help Wang Fuguei relieve his stress. Changing into a hidden dance costume, she performed the dance divination for Wang Fuguei. Physically, Ji Rumeng finally agreed to bite Wang Fuguei after he softly coaxed him. In this small world, Wang Fuguei found a trace of peace and warmth. Chapter 55 Mutations. The early morning sunlight spilled onto Wang Fuguei's bed through the gaps in the curtains. He opened his eyes and stretched, the conversation with Yueshi last night still echoing in his mind. The day of the new student's military training has arrived, and Ji Rumeng will devote herself to it. After military training, it was an intense program, with classes Monday through Friday and labs on the weekends. Wang Fuguei, on the other hand, was no longer participating in the daily arrangements for students because of the principal's amnesty, and he decided to enjoy this rare free time. Still, too much leisure is a pain in the ass. Wang Fuguei picked up his cell phone and sent a message to Yueshi, asking about the progress of her graduation design. Soon, Yueshi replied that her graduation design was close to completion because of Wang Fuguei's help, and she believed that the grades would be excellent. Yueshi's good news puts Wang Fuguei in a good mood, and she asks Wang Fuguei if he's free today, to which Wang Fuguei immediately replies that he is free and jokes that he's always at his disposal. The two then met in front of the school. Wang Fuguei put on a hat and sunglasses and appeared across the school entrance fully armed. Yueshi couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh lightly once she saw him in this outfit. Wang Fuguei was now a celebrity and had a bad reputation lately, so he did this to avoid being recognized. The two took a cab and went to the bottom of a hill in the suburbs. There are not many crowds here, and you can see two ropeways slowly making their way to the top of the mountain. Yueshi pointed to the top of the mountain and excitedly said to Wang Fuguei, "Look, there's a huge Ferris wheel on the mountain, the largest Ferris wheel in the Dragon Kingdom with a diameter of 200 meters. Because on the top of the hill, the view is very good. You can see the sea in front, the mountains behind, and the city on one side of the two sides and the Lin province on the other side. I was blown away the first time I went up there, and one day, I'm going to have to take my favorite person up there to see it." The two men bought tickets and boarded the ropeway up the mountain. As the ropeway slowly ascended, they passed through lush woods and could occasionally see pedestrians on the mountain trails. It seemed to cross several terrains, from the fields at the bottom of the hill, to the woods in the middle, to the oddly shaped rocks at the top. On a weekday, the mountain was sparsely visited, and the two men checked their tickets and went up to the Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel's huge supports are solidly anchored to the hard rock at the top of the mountain, as if it were a giant tower connecting heaven and earth. In addition to the sturdy base that hugs the ground, the aerial portion of the Ferris wheel is underneath a steep cliff that drops 1,000 feet straight down, making it a daunting experience. Such a design tests the limits of engineering and technology, as well as providing the ultimate visual impact. Wang Fuguei and Yueshi stood inside the slowly rising sedan chair, their vision gradually opening up as the height continued to increase. Outside the sedan chair, the trees and flowers that were originally visible at eye level gradually became smaller and smaller, turning into a patchwork of green accents. They could see winding trails that wrapped around the hillside like ribbons, while the downtown area in the distance looked like a carefully laid out sandbox model, with skyscrapers and busy roads forming a vivid picture. As the car slowly climbed to the highest point of the Ferris wheel, the two seemed to be on top of the world. The wind here carried a hint of coolness that blew through their hair and dispersed the worries in their hearts. It was an unspeakable shock as they looked down on the cliffs at their feet. Beneath the cliffs are deep valleys with clouds and mist, giving a dreamlike feeling. At this moment, Wang Fuguei and Inyueshi's mood became incomparably excited. They could see the ocean in the distance, the sea shimmering, the waves glistening silver in the sunlight like countless jumping diamonds. In the other direction, the rolling hills are layered like a magnificent landscape painting. The two stood in front of the clear glass of the sedan chair, holding hands and taking in the serenity and beauty of the moment. Their eyes reflected each other and the magnificent world. At this height, it was as if they could touch the clouds and embrace the entire heaven and earth. This feeling, which was so transcendent and freeing, released their minds like never before. Wang Fuguei took a deep breath, feeling the tranquility and beauty of this moment. All his worries seemed to have gone with the wind. When the Ferris wheel sedan chair was slowly getting ready to descend, the sedan chair where Wang Fuguei and Inyueshi were in suddenly made a clunking noise. This sudden sound made Inyueshi feel a wave of nervousness. She had never encountered such a situation before and couldn't help but ask worriedly, "This sedan chair won't fall down, right?" Wang Fuguei gently held her hand and comforted her with a smile. "It won't happen. Don't think nonsense. The Ferris wheel is safe. Nothing will happen." And Inyueshi still felt uneasy. Then what if it really falls? It's so high, and there's still a cliff below. Wang Fuguei embraced her into his arms, his tone firm. "It's fine. I'm here. No matter what happens, I'll be with you." However, the rattling of the sedan chair grew louder, and Inyueshi's voice was tinged with sobs. "I regret so much that I didn't get to know you earlier, didn't spend more time with you longer, and didn't do the things I wanted to do with you." Just then, the car suddenly lost control and began to fall rapidly. Inyueshi hugged Wang Fuguei tightly after a scream. She knew that the chances of surviving a fall from several hundred meters, with a cliff still below, were almost zero. In this moment of life and death, she spoke aloud the long-buried emotion in her heart. "I love you." When Wang Fuguei heard Inyueshi's confession, a warm current surged in his heart. But in those same seconds, the car dropped about 200 meters, parallel to the top of the mountain, and continued its descent towards the cliff. Wang Fuguei quickly opened the door of the sedan chair and leaped with Inyueshi in his arms. The moment they leapt out of the car, the Iron Man battle armor on Wang Fuguei's body quickly unfolded, the power unit activated, and they shot out like arrows off the string. Wang Fuguei controlled the battle armor and flew towards the sea, while from the side, it was sliding in an arc, and after stopping their descent, they skimmed over the surface of the sea and flew directly to high altitude. Inyueshi originally thought that what was coming was severe pain and despair, but she only felt the wind hunting in her ears. She opened her eyes and found that she was being held tightly by Wang Fuguei, wearing a dark red mech, flying high into the sky. The happiness of the aftermath instantly surged to her heart, and she tightly hugged Wang Fuguei again, no longer having the slightest fear. Inyueshi, who was rich in romantic thinking, no longer thought about why Wang Fuguei had this particular high technology. As they rose to a height of 2,000 meters, Inyueshi found herself in the midst of mid-level clouds which formed a spectacular sea of clouds. From this height, the clouds spread out like cotton candy, creating a sea of white. She reached out to touch it, but only felt a mist of water. Chapter 56, Heart to Heart. On a clear day, the landscape on the ground seems as clear as a toy when viewed from above. She could see the contours of the mountains, the blue sheen of the lakes and rivers, the layout of the city and countryside, and the details of the roads and buildings. The sun's rays create beautiful color gradients on the horizon, from warm orange to deep red, and the clouds in the sky are tinted with a golden glow. Such a magnificent landscape is beyond the imagination of Inyueshi. What had happened in just a few minutes had shattered everything she had known for 20 years. She hugged Wang Fuguei tightly, her heart filled with gratitude and love. At this moment, She knew that no matter what the future held, she would face it together with Wang Fuguei, because they had already experienced life and death. So what else could not be overcome? High in the air, Wang Fuguei felt the romantic atmosphere of the moment, and he knew that this was an unparalleled opportunity, a moment to express his deepest feelings. They were hovering above the clouds, surrounded by an infinite blue sky and golden sunlight, with a spectacular view of the earth below, and everything seemed to bear witness to their love. Wang Fuguei took a deep breath. His eyes were firm and affectionate. His voice echoed high in the air. Yueshi, from the first time I saw you, I knew you were the one I've been waiting for. Your smile, your kindness, your wisdom, each and every one of them has mesmerized me. On this unique occasion, I want to tell you that I love you and would like to spend my life guarding you and loving you. And Yueshi listened to Wang Fuguei's confession, and her eyes were filled with tears of emotion. She never thought she would hear such a heartfelt confession in such a scene. Her heart was completely open, and she knew that Wang Fuguei was the only man in her life, the one she was willing to commit her life to. On this high-altitude stage, the two hearts are deeply connected. Wang Fuguei gently pulled in Yueshi closer. Their lips met and swirled as if they were going to kiss until the end of days and the end of the sea. The kiss was full of love and commitment, a testament to their love and a promise for the future. The clouds around them seemed to cheer their love, and the sunlight shed a warm glow over their bodies. In this instant, everything in the world seemed to stand still. Only the two of them were left, and in this romantic world high in the sky, their love was sublimated. When they finally parted, both of their eyes were filled with the other's figure. They know that no matter how bumpy the road ahead may be, they will walk hand in hand because their love has been tested and made more indestructible. It was a moment of eternity when their love blossomed high in the sky. After the kiss ended, Wang Fuguei gently pressed a button on his battle armor to activate the stealth mode. The special materials on the surface of the battle armor came into play, causing their figures to gradually disappear from sight, and even radar was unable to detect their presence. Under the protection of stealth, Wang Fuguei took in Yueshi and started a marvelous flying journey. They skimmed across the shimmering sea, the waves gently lapping against the shoreline reefs with a serene, rhythmic sound. The sea was alive with sailboats dotting the landscape and seagulls soaring. They then flew over rolling hills covered with green forests and mountains clouded over like a fairyland. At the top of the high mountains, the snow-white snow line shines brightly in the sunlight and looks particularly sacred. Then they flew over a lush forest of trees standing tall and leafy, the sunlight pouring through the gaps in the leaves, shedding dappled light and shadows. The brook was babbling and clear, the water jumping between the rocks and making a pleasant sound of running water. In the woods, wildflowers are in full bloom and colorful, adding to the lush green world. Wang Fuguei took in Yueshi and flew around the suburbs, giving her a magnificent view of the great mountains and rivers in the air. From a high altitude, the fields, villages, and lanes of the suburb form a peaceful and beautiful idyllic picture. The city skyline in the distance mirrors the beauty of nature, presenting a picture of harmonious coexistence between man and nature. Eventually, they landed on the top floor of Wang Fuguei's villa. Wang Fuguei had Blue prepare lunch in advance. On the terrace of the top floor, an exquisite dining table had been set up and was filled with a variety of delicacies. There is fresh seafood such as steamed fish, grilled lobster, and aromatic barbecued meats with great color and flavor. Vegetable salads, fruit platters, and delicate desserts are also available in a sumptuous array. The two enjoyed their lunch in a romantic and ambiguous atmosphere. Surrounded by floral accents, the air was filled with the aroma of food and the fragrance of flowers. They savored the food and talked, sometimes looking deeply into each other's eyes, sometimes whispering, enjoying this rare world of two. The sun was warm and cozy as it poured through the parasol and onto their bodies. In this moment, time seemed to stand still, and the world was left with just the two of them, enjoying the good times. Considering the large size of the villa, Wang Fuguei asked the system in his head to assign another Little Powder, to come and help. Of course, Wang Fuguei, being a decent man, would definitely not have any strange thoughts. After lunch, the sunlight flooded the penthouse pool, and the water sparkled invitingly. Wang Fuguei invited in Yueshi to swim with him, and the two of them changed into swimsuits and stepped into the cool pool water. Wang Fugui's body was comparable to a sculpture. His eight-pack abs were well-defined, and his muscles rose and fell with his movements, highlighting the perfect combination of strength and beauty. And Yueshi, on the other hand, is like an elf in the water, with her beautiful mermaid line and her feminine softness and strength in every movement. The waves of water in the pool gently brushed against their skin, bringing up a wave of coolness. The two frolicked in the water, their mutual admiration and fascination unmistakable in their eye contact. Wang Fugui's swimming posture is robust and powerful, while Yueshi is as light as a swallow. They cut a beautiful arc in the pool, and the distance between them is unknowingly drawn closer. As the temperature rises in the late afternoon, the atmosphere by the pool becomes more cozy and ambiguous. The two decide to go back indoors, and they step into bedroom number 2, which is decorated to be both cozy and romantic, with soft lighting and a light scent creating a perfect atmosphere. In this private space, Yueshi finally let go of all her concerns, and she decided to completely hand herself over to Wang Fugui. The two are as hot as lava, their passion as hot as the summer sun, and they can't contain it. Inside the dimly lit bedroom, Wang Fugui and Yueshi's emotions surged like a tidal wave. Chapter 57. Shameful Things for Rem to Do. Their eyes met like the brightest stars in the night sky, and their souls embraced each other deeply in silence. In this quiet moment, the rhythms of the two heartbeats gradually synchronized, and the flame of passion was quietly ignited in their hearts. Wang Fugui gently led in Yueshi. Their steps were light and firm, as if they were stepping into a sacred hall that belonged only to the two of them. In this space, time seemed to freeze, and the air was filled with a faint aroma, the smell of love that belonged to them. As Wang Fugui's fingers caressed, and Yueshi's heartbeat accelerated and her cheeks colored a faint blush. Their breaths gradually mingled, and Wang Fugui's lips gently imprinted on Yueshi's forehead, then her eyes, the tip of her nose, and finally her lips. Their kisses were both tender and passionate, like the waves lapping against the shore over and over again, never ending. And Yueshi's arms wrapped around Wang Fugui's neck, her fingertips gently sliding over his back, feeling every inch of his skin. Wang Fugui's palm tenderly stroked Yueshi's waist. Their bodies were closely attached to each other, as if their two hearts were completely fused at this moment. On this passionate evening, their love, like a blooming flower, went through the whole process from budding to blooming. Their every breath, every touch, every mingling is a deep statement of affection for each other, the truest praise of love. Eventually, when the storm of passion subsided, the two held each other close, feeling the warmth of each other. On this quiet afternoon, their hearts were comforted in the deepest way, and their love reached eternity in this moment. The passionate journey between Wang Fugui and Yueshi is like a wonderful symphony, from the exciting climax to the gentle coda. Every note is full of love and beauty. Their every touch is poetic. Their every mingling is like a harmonious melody in the universe. On this day, their love story was immortalized in each other's hearts. Ding! System. And Yueshi Good Sense, currently 99, has been included in the system to protect the object, 24 hours real-time tracking protection. Any abnormalities will be reported to you. Wang Fugui. Crap, G Rumling didn't even do this. There's no malfunction, right, you? System. Just kidding, G Rooming's favorability hasn't reached 99 yet, and it'll be the same when it does. And there will be a character card in your head that you can access at any time. Rich Wang. What do the character cards do? System. In addition to the basic information, there are characters' past experiences, as well as various photos of their lives, and you can also change them into your favorite clothes, which will subconsciously affect them in reality. Then they will appear in this clothes in their life afterward. Wang Fugui. You mean any clothes will do? System. The clothes you're thinking of in your head right now, they'll wear them to you in the bedroom at best. Wang Fugui. Are there any other features? System. There's a real-time location tracking function and a description of the mental psychological state. For example, so-and-so is now disgusted with you, or something like that. Women who have not been raided will have a raid reminder. Wang Fugui, nice job. Then I'll try to change Yueshi into a sensei costume first. Hee. Recently, Kisame was in military training, so she didn't change her clothes. As night fell, the room was softly and warmly lit. And Yueshi awoke from her sweet dream, her consciousness gradually clearing. She suddenly realized that in their passion, just now, The two of them had forgotten to take the necessary safety measures, driven by their emotions. A trace of anxiety welled up in her heart as she turned her head to Wang Fugue and said softly, "Fugue, we just forgot to do the safety measures. I might need to take the medicine." Wang Fugue was also shocked when he heard this, and then his expression became serious. He knew that this was more than just a small oversight that could have consequences they didn't want to face. He pondered for a moment and seriously proposed to Inueshi. "How about this? Let's play a game. Rock, paper, scissors, the loser goes for it." And Inueshi couldn't help but laugh lightly when she heard this proposal. She knew that Wang Fugue was sometimes like a big boy, always having some unexpected ideas. But she also understood that this was Wang Fugue's way of easing the tension in a lighthearted manner. She stretched out her hand, opposite Wang Fugue's palm, and the two of them shouted out together, "Rock, paper, scissors." As a result, Wang Fugue came out with scissors while Inueshi came out with cloth. Wang Fugue made a helpless expression, but suddenly felt a slight pain in his hand. It turned out that Inueshi had gently bitten his hand the moment he got out the scissors. There was a hint of playfulness in her eyes and a hint of firmness that could not be denied. "It's better if you go. I'll wait for you here." Wang Fugue looked at Inueshi and gently rubbed his bitten hand, a doting smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. He knew that this small action of Inueshi's was both a form of trust and dependence on him. However, on second thought, Wang Fugue thought that as a public figure, if he personally went to buy the aftermath medicine, it would probably cause unnecessary attention and gossip. He thought about it and finally decided to let Rem go through with the task. After all, it's better to die poor than dead. Rem is his intelligent assistant who is not only efficient, but also ensures privacy. Wang Fugue quickly contacted Rem, explaining in detail the medicines that needed to be purchased and emphasizing the importance of confidentiality. Rem was instructed to act immediately. Rem, the intelligent assistant with blue hair and black pupils, looked both elegant and professional in a classic maid's outfit that showed off a small section of her calf and white socks. Without the slightest hesitation, Rem immediately set off for the nearest pharmacy. On the way to the pharmacy, Rem attracted a lot of attention. Her appearance and attire made her stand out in the crowd. As Rem walked into the drugstore, two young men, who also happened to be in the doorway, noticed Rem's presence, and out of curiosity and a touch of levity, they decided to strike up a conversation. Rem performed a quick scan to confirm that the two young men were not aggressive, so she decided to ignore them and walked straight into the pharmacy. The two young men were a little surprised to see that Rem didn't react, but curiosity drove them to follow. Inside the pharmacy, Rem headed straight for the drug section, her eyes quickly scanning the shelves and quickly finding the afterthought she needed. She picked up her medication and walked to the cash register, remaining calm and efficient the entire time. The two young men couldn't help but open their mouths wide when they saw that Rem was really buying the morning after pill, and they looked at each other in amazement, thinking, "Do girls buy these kinds of pills nowadays without blushing?" Rem paid and walked out of the pharmacy with the medicine. Her pace was firm, unaffected by the stares of those around her. The two young men were still standing in front of the pharmacy, and they looked at Rem's back with mixed emotions in their hearts. Chapter 58, Rem and Ram on the hot seat. They had never seen such a calm and confident woman, and Rem's behavior shattered their traditional view of such situations. After Rem walked out of the pharmacy, a few males next to her also noticed the medicine in her hand, but they were more in admiration of Rem's appearance and demeanor. Rem didn't linger. She continued on as if nothing around her mattered to her. Her mission was to serve Wang Fugue, and nothing else was on her mind. Rem quickly returned to the villa and handed the medicine to Wang Fugue. Wang Fugue received the medicine and thanked Rem for his efficiency and professionalism. It seems that in the future, for such things that are not good for you to step in, you can let Rem and Ram step in. After all, they don't have such a weakness as thin skin. Rem nodded slightly, indicating that it was her duty to do so. In this vignette, Rem not only demonstrates her professionalism, but also her loyalty to Wang Fugue and her follow-through on her mission. Wang Fugue received the medicine and looked deeply at Inueshi, his eyes filled with gratitude and love. They knew that this little interlude, while it brought a touch of tension, also brought them closer together and made their relationship more real. Of course, now that you've taken the medicine, there's a sense of waste in not taking advantage of the short duration of its effects. So, the next thing you know, Wang Fugue put on a hat trick. And Inueshi was even more difficult to put into words and imagine on her own. After a night of passion, the next morning, and Yueshi left Wang Fugue's villa with a tired body and returned to the school to continue to be busy with the upcoming graduation exhibition. Wang Fugue, on the other hand, chose to stay at home. He didn't like being surrounded by people when he went out. He felt like a monkey in a zoo. He decided to let Rem and Ram go out, partly to familiarize them with their surroundings and partly to procure some necessities. Wang Fugue gave instructions through the intelligence system, asking Rem and Ram to buy back soy milk, donuts, and donuts for breakfast, as well as prepare ingredients for lunch and dinner. Before they left the house, Wang Fugue made it a point to input the planet's laws and ethics into their CPUs to ensure that their behavior was legally compliant. He set strict rules: no attacking humans except in cases of self-defense and bravery. And even when molested, he could only dodge, not fight back. Rem and Ram accepted the instructions and walked out of the villa. They walked through the streets, using a built-in scanning system to record information about the buildings, streets, stores, and goods around them. The two beautiful robots were identical in appearance, Rem possessing blue hair and Ram with pink hair, and both were dressed in elaborate maid outfits that quickly became the talk of the street. People cast curious glances at the unique pair, some taking out their cell phones to take photos and videos. Rem, with her gentle nature, smiled at everyone who looked over, while Ram maintained a cold, unsmiling demeanor. This contrast in personalities, coupled with their rare maid costumes, makes them the center of much attention. Some people try to come up and talk to her, even asking for phone calls and pictures, but Ram always balked, her directness and firmness putting most people off. The clips were uploaded to a small video site and quickly became a sensation, with the number of likes surpassing 1 million in a short period of time. As the video went viral, more and more people started coming to this affluent neighborhood in hopes of catching a glimpse of Rem and Ram. However, due to Wang Fugue's instructions, Rem and Ram would not go out frequently, and sometimes they would even stay out of sight for a few days in a row, which rather increased their sense of mystery. The internet thus created a cosplay craze, and many cosplay enthusiasts and internet celebrities started to imitate Rem and Ram's costumes and came to the wide road in this rich neighborhood to perform and shoot. This place is gradually becoming an emerging Netflix hitting spot, while Rem and Ram are known by everyone as the cosplay princess and queen respectively, and their images are deeply rooted in people's hearts, becoming a unique symbol of this era. After 2 days of squatting, those admiring crowds began to feel disappointed. Their enthusiasm gradually faded, and the originally lively streets returned to their usual calm. There are only a couple of small webcams left over there to rub off on the traffic. On this day, Wang Fugue suddenly missed the deliciousness of a few national dishes, so he asked Rem and Ram to go out and purchase the required ingredients and seasonings. Rem and Ram hadn't been out of the villa for long when they witnessed an outburst. Not far ahead, an internet beauty was broadcasting live on the street, and she was wearing an expensive and thick gold necklace in order to attract more attention and traffic. However, while she was concentrating on the live broadcast, 2 men, one driving and one riding on the back of a motorcycle, suddenly approached the biker thieves and snatched her gold necklace. The Netflix beauty instantly panicked, her screams cutting through the calm street. Seeing this, Ram immediately handed the basket of groceries in her hand to Rem as she leaned forward and bent over, lowering her center of gravity before sprinting out at a surprisingly fast pace. Her hands quickly swung her arms, and her skirt fluttered with her speed, making a tantalizing view hidden from view. In plain sight, Ram quickly caught up with the 2 speeding car thieves. Making sure that no one was harmed, Ram skillfully retrieved the gold necklace from the speeding car thief. Seeing this, the flying car thieves panicked and accelerated to flee the scene. Instead of pursuing, Ram turned gracefully and walked back to the web-slinger, handing the gold necklace back to her. That beautiful woman cried tears of joy. Her makeup was smudged, but she bent over and thanked her with gratitude. The scene was recorded in its entirety by a webcam that was streaming live across the road. The video quickly went viral, and netizens were full of praise for Ram's act of bravery, especially for her impressive 100-meter sprint speed, which was comparable to that of a professional athlete. At the same time, some netizens also noticed the moment when Ram's skirt flew while running, which was only a few seconds long, but was reproduced in frame-by-frame HD, and became the focus of many geeks' hot debates, and the subject of consuming toilet paper. The images of Rem and Ram quickly shot to the top of the hit list and became the center of discussion. Their heroic behavior and unique made costumes, as well as the beautiful scenery of that moment, made their popularity quickly surpass that of Wang Fuguei and the events at the Tsinghua University. This unexpected episode not only made Rem and Ram an internet sensation, but also made them heroes' wives in the hearts of many, earning them the title of national wives. In particular, some of the old colorful skins actually tried to take both sisters together, which is just heartless deep in my heart. Borrowing the influence of this matter, Wang Fuguei, as well as the heat of the incident at Beijing University, quickly faded, and it was also considered crooked. Chapter 59, The Great Earthquake in Mathematics. While Rem's and Ram's heroic deeds were generating buzz on the internet, the international math community broke the shocking news. Leprio, a renowned mathematics scholar at the Royal Academy of Adelaide and recipient of the World Mathematics Lifetime Achievement Award, has announced a breakthrough that has caught the attention of mathematicians around the world. The Riemann conjecture has been verified. The news was like a heavy bomb that caused a furor in the math community. People flocked to the announcement of the Adelaide Royal Academy to find out what was going on. The process of proving the Riemann conjecture in question was proven correct after rigorous verification by all the mathematics professors at the Institute over several consecutive days. And this genius, with unbelievable talent, was actually a freshman from the Dragon Kingdom. As images of the manuscript published by Leprio circulated on the internet, mathematicians around the globe immediately sprang into action, downloaded the manuscript, and began working on their arguments. Although the argumentation process took several days, there was widespread confidence that Leprio would not joke with his reputation, given his high standing in the mathematical community. The National Academy of Mathematics of Texas, known for its rigorous governance, quickly summoned all the mathematical scholars in the country for a day and a night of urgent verification. They again proved the correctness of this verification process and issued an official notice confirming that the verification of the Riemann conjecture, as set out in the manuscript by Wang Fuguei, a student at Kyunghwa University in the Dragon Kingdom, was correct. While congratulating this, he also lamented that this achievement heralds the bending of the Dragon Kingdom to lead the world in the field of mathematics. The successive announcements of the two authoritative organizations shocked the whole world except for the Dragon Kingdom. Various countries have sent congratulatory telegrams to Tsinghua University, requesting to arrange for Wang Fuguei to give lectures and lessons at the National Mathematics Institutes of each country. However, most of the netizens in the Dragon's country were still focused on the entertainment news and the story of Rem and Ram and the rumors of a certain celebrity cheating on his wife, and had yet to perceive this great earthquake in the mathematical world. President Kai Yuan, as the leader of Kyoto University, received a phone call from Shi Wenyuan, a senior veteran professor of the School of Mathematics. On the other end of the line, Professor Shi was nervous, excited, and incoherent as he told President Kai Yuan the incredible news. Although President Kai Yuan did not come from a science background, he had heard of the great name of Riemann's conjecture and knew that it was a super problem in mathematics that no one had been able to solve in the past 200 years. At Professor Shi's urging, President Kai Yuan realized the seriousness and urgency of the matter. At the moment, Kyoto University was already an afterthought. Its own students had solved such a big puzzle, and in a public exam, that all the experts and professors of the modeling contest organizing committee hadn't found out about it. Rather, the images were streamed abroad before they were discovered and verified. What does that tell you? It is both an honor and a shame to show that academics in the Dragon Kingdom do not take academics seriously. President Kai Yuan quickly convened an emergency meeting with several leading professors in the math department. After 10 minutes of urgent discussion, they confirmed the truth of the matter. President Kai Yuan immediately instructed the publicity department to write a special notice on the matter and put it up on the front page of the official website of JHU in a prominent position, as well as contacting all major official media outlets to report on the matter. Notice from Kyoto University on the results of the verification of the Riemann conjecture by Mr. Wang Fuguei. Honorable faculty, students, alumni, and community members. Recently, our student Wang Fuguei has attracted wide attention in the international mathematical community by successfully verifying the Riemann conjecture, which has long been troubling mathematicians all over the world. This achievement is not only a great affirmation of Wang Fuguei's personal academic ability, but also an important proof of the academic research level of JHU. The Riemann conjecture, a central problem in mathematics, has not been solved for nearly 200 years. Wang Fuguei directly wrote the verification process of Riemann conjecture in the elimination round of our modeling competition, which was confirmed to be correct after rigorous verification by the Royal Academy of Adelaide and the National Mathematical Institute of Texas. The announcement of this news immediately aroused great repercussions and praises in the international mathematical community. We at Kyowa University would like to express our sincere apologies for the negligence of our talented student Wang Fugue during the course of this incident. We will deeply reflect on and improve our talent identification and cultivation mechanisms to ensure that we are better able to identify and support talented individuals like Mr. Wang Fugue in the future. At the same time, we would like to extend our warmest congratulations to Mr. Fugue Wang and express our deepest respect for his contributions to the field of mathematics. Mr. Wang Fugue's achievement is the best interpretation of the academic tradition of JHU and the best proof of our educational achievements. After the research decision of the university, Fugue Wang of the Department of Physics is appointed as a special scholar of the School of Mathematics, enjoying the treatment of professor. JHU always upholds an open and inclusive academic attitude. We welcome academic enthusiasts, experts, and scholars from home and abroad to visit our university for exchange and to jointly promote the development of academic research and contribute to the advancement of human knowledge. Finally, we would like to congratulate Mr. Wang Fugue once again and look forward to more outstanding achievements in the future. At the same time, we also look forward to the community's continued attention and support for the development of JHU and to witness the continuous progress and breakthroughs of our university in the academic field. University of Beijing. Dragon Kingdom Era, September 26, 2024. The announcement of the Tsinghua University about the significant achievement of Wang Fugue's classmates on Riemann's conjecture immediately caused great repercussions in the society once it was released. Various official media outlets have reported in depth on this, and Wang Fugue's name has been on the top of the hot search list several times in a short period of time, and his influence is comparable to that of the heavenly kings and queens of the entertainment industry. Some Netflix versus, for some unknown purpose, put together a 15-minute analysis of all the news about Wang Fugue. Saying it like it is, the number of likes instantly broke 10 million and was reproduced frantically. The passion of hundreds of millions of netizens was rekindled, and they flocked to the message section of the official website of the Tsinghua University to express their admiration and worship for this scholarly emperor. In their eyes, Wang Fugue had already transcended the category of god of learning and had become a legendary existence. At the same time, some hilarious netizens also flocked to the modeling competition's official website and began to post all sorts of cynical comments. Below is a selection of opinions from some of our users. 1. The man who is worshipped and held in high regard by countries all over the world can't even make it to the top 8 in a modeling competition, so the level is really quite high. 2. Playing rich, such as the Emperor of Learning, cannot enter the eyes of the organizing committee. Visible organizing committee of these experts level of high. Just checked, basically are professor level, academic achievements for 0. 3. Sit and wait to eat melon. See how the organizing committee to end. People Beijing University did not find this problem, but also the official announcement of the generous recognition of their own mistakes. The next look at this organizing committee performance. In the face of the netizens' buzz and concern, Fang Jin, the chairperson of the modeling contest, received accountability from the relevant authorities in the first place. Fang Jin said that the matter would be handled properly as soon as possible. The entire organizing committee's expert selection panel, on the other hand, felt unprecedented shame and pressure. Admitting a mistake is scolded. Not admitting a mistake is also scolded, and silence is still scolded. Chapter 60. Lin Yutong's Treat. Fang Jin immediately convened the expert selection panel for an emergency meeting. They realized that they had to respond to the matter in order to maintain the credibility and authority of the tournament. After the fermentation of the incident, Fang Jin, chairman of the modeling contest, quickly convened an emergency meeting with members of the expert selection panel to discuss how to properly handle this unexpected event. They are well aware that at this point in time, any concealment or sophistry is tantamount to digging one's own grave. After heated discussions, they finally decided to put their heads down, admit their mistakes, and take measures to calm public opinion. In order to express its sincerity, the organizing committee decided to give Wang Fugue a supplementary award for MVP of the competition and directly invite him into the training camp. At the same time, in order to recognize KYW for producing such talents, the organizing committee decided to give KYW a special contribution award. They hoped that these measures would ease public discontent. However, when the organizing committee's announcement was sent out, many netizens did not buy it. The message area was filled with sarcastic and mocking voices, with one netizen stating, If I had known it would be like this, why did I bother? There are also netizens who chortled. At first you were indifferent to me, but now I'm letting you climb high. These comments put the organizing committee under pressure. Feeling helpless, Fong Jin contacted his old classmate, Principal Kai Yuan, in the hope that he would step in to help solve the problem. President Kai Yuan said that the handling of the BOE had been quite good, and that if the organizing committee was stumped at this point, it might reverse the just improved popularity once again. Therefore, he said that he could not help, but for the sake of his old classmates, he was willing to help contact Wang Fugue to see what he had to say. After President Kai Yuan contacted Wang Fugue said that he was not commenting on the matter and suggested that it should be handled coldly. President Kai Yuan, on the other hand, suggested that Wang Fugue step in and give a brief explanation to help the organizing committee tide over the difficulties. Considering the system mission he had received, which required him to achieve the World Modeling Contest Championship, Wang Fugue had felt hopeless. But now that there was a turnaround, he thought he should seize the opportunity, while also trying to gain more benefits for himself. After some thinking, Wang Fugue put forward his own conditions. He would not participate in the training camp, but directly participate in the final of the World Modeling Contest and serve as the captain of the team, and matters related to the contest would be subject to his arrangement. Principal Kai Yuan felt that these demands were not excessive, and that Fong Jin, in his anxiety, should agree to all conditions. So, Principal Kai Yuan conveyed Wang Fugue's intentions to Fong Jin, who indeed accepted these conditions without hesitation, and said that Wang Fugue's strength was obvious to everyone, and it was only natural for him to serve as the captain. Subsequently, JHU issued a notice again, thanking the general public for their concern for Wang Fugue's classmates, and at the same time declaring that the whole process of the elimination round of the modeling contest was standardized, and that Wang Fugue himself had no objections to the process and the result of the contest. Immediately after that, the Modeling Contest Organizing Committee also issued a notice, admitting the mistake and stating that it had already contacted Wang Fugue's classmates to let him directly become a team member of the World Contest proper and serve as a team captain, and requesting that the majority of netizens continue to support the organizing committee. Through this series of operations, the organizing committee succeeded in calming down the storm of public opinion, and Wang Fugue got the stage to show his talent. This storm in academia and the online world, triggered by Wang Fugue, not only made Wang Fugue the focus of public attention, but also made JHU and the organizing committee of the modeling contest face a severe test. However, as expressed in the BGU circular, the incident also provides them with an opportunity to reflect and improve, which will help promote the progress and development of the academic community. As for Wang Fugue, his journey to academic domination has just begun, and the road ahead is full of infinite possibilities. In this way, Wang Fugue's name and his accomplishments quickly spread throughout the academic world and even affected the public sphere. Tsinghua University, the top institution in the Dragon Kingdom, had risen to fame because of Wang Fugue's outstanding contributions and had become the center of attention for the whole world. After the ups and downs of Wang Fugue becoming a world-class celebrity, his family and friends sent congratulatory messages to express their joy and blessings. Ji Rumeng and Yueshi and Lin Yutong were proud and excited about Wang Fugue's achievement, and they congratulated him by phone and other means. Lin Yutong, as Wang Fugue's tutor, was particularly pleased with his success. She knew that Wang Fugue's status now was different from before. He was a public figure, and any move he made could become the center of media attention. Therefore, she decided to change her original plan and stopped inviting Wang Fugue to treat him at an outside restaurant, choosing instead to prepare a cozy dinner for him in her apartment to avoid unnecessary gossip and misunderstanding. Lin Yutong asked Wang Fugue when he was free and wanted to invite him to his apartment for dinner. Wang Fugue was very happy with Lin Yutong's invitation. It was a great opportunity to improve their relationship, nay, to improve his enthusiasm for learning. So it was agreed to have dinner at Lin Yutong's house tonight. After Lin Yutong hung up the phone, he looked at the time and realized that it was already noon. The mind is both nervous and full of anticipation. She knew that Wang Fugue was now a world-class celebrity, and any interaction with him could be magnified and interpreted. But at the same time, she felt an unspeakable happiness because it meant that she would have the opportunity to spend a private and cozy evening with Wang Fugue. During the process of buying food, Lin Yutong had unusually mixed feelings. She walked into the food market, her eyes quickly scanning through the wide array of ingredients, mentally calculating the dishes Wang Fugue might like. She picks her ingredients with extra care, afraid that she'll buy something wrong and compromise the quality of her dinner. Her hands touched lightly over the fresh vegetables, and her nose sniffed at the freshness of the meats, each choice revealing the importance she placed on this dinner. Upon returning home, Lin Yutong immediately threw himself into intense preparations. She started by quickly organizing the room, making sure every corner was clean and tidy, and then began to prepare dinner. She was busy in the kitchen, chopping, seasoning, and cooking, every action revealing her concentration and dedication. She tried to make colorful and flavorful dishes, hoping to make Wang Fugui feel her sincerity and care. As the dinner preparations drew to a close, Lin Yutong walked into the bathroom and carefully washed herself before sitting down in front of the vanity table and gently applying light makeup. She didn't often wear makeup, but tonight she wanted to look more polished and presentable. She gently applied foundation, meticulously lined her eyes, and finished with a natural lip gloss. After getting ready, Lin Yutong changed into a dress she rarely wore. This dress is simple yet elegant and complements her figure and temperament. She spun around in front of the mirror to make sure she was impeccably dressed. However, she doesn't realize that she has slowly fallen into a whirlwind of emotions without realizing it. Her every preparation, every detail, was a silent care and expectation for Wang Fugui. The moment Wang Fugui rang the doorbell on time, Lin Yutong's heartbeat accelerated. She took a deep breath and calmed her emotions, then opened the door with a gentle smile. Her eyes were filled with anticipation and joy as she welcomed Wang Fugui. Chapter 61. Lin Yutong's Hongmen Banquet. Wang Fugui arrived at Lin Yutong's apartment in a corner of the school, as agreed. He knocked gently on the door, which opened slowly, and the Lin Yutong in front of him caught his eye. She wore no glasses, her slightly powdered face looked softer, and her dark hair was coiled up, revealing a white swan neck. She was wearing a dress that was simple in style, but outlined her proud figure just right. With her calves slightly exposed and a pair of pink bunny shoes, she is both sexy and cute, giving her an overall stunning look. Wang Fugui looked a little dumbfounded and actually forgot to greet him until Lin Yutong called his name for the second time. Walking into the apartment, Wang Fugui found that although the space was not large, estimated to be only 40 square meters, it was well laid out and had all the essentials. One bedroom, one living room, one kitchen, one bathroom, and one balcony. Every corner is furnished with warmth and comfort. The dress-up in the apartment was on the pink, girly side, which surprised Wang Fugui, not expecting the serious and cold counselor Lin Yutong to have such a cute side in her private life. Lin Yutong noticed Wang Fugui looking around. Her ears couldn't help but burn. She hurriedly greeted him. "Fugui, come and sit down, it's ready for dinner." The two of them sat face to face at the dining table. Looking at the 4 dishes and 1 soup on the table, Wang Fugui couldn't help but praise, "These dishes are full of color and flavor." Lin Yutong smiled and responded, "None of them have been tasted yet. How do I know how they are?" Wang Fugui joked, "When you look at such a beautiful counselor, you can eat 3 bowls of rice on the soles of your shoes." Lin Yutong's cheeks blushed slightly after hearing this, and she hurried to the kitchen to serve him some rice. At the table, the two began to enjoy a delicious dinner. Having a chat, Wang Fugui felt that the more he talked, the more awkward it became. So, the suggestion was made to have a little drink, and although Lin Yutong did not drink often, he thought of the 1 bottle of Maotai left over from the last party. So he took it out and asked Wang Fugui if it was appropriate. Wang Fugui expressed his great satisfaction, and the two of them began to pour wine from disposable paper cups. After clinking glasses, Wang Fugui took a small sip and marveled at the mellow fragrance of the wine. He reminded Lin Yutong not to drink too much, but Lin Yutong had already downed a glass in 1 gulp, apparently misunderstanding the meaning of clinking glasses. Her first time drinking white wine, she felt a little spicy and hurriedly took a sip of soup to suppress it. Seeing this, Wang Fugui could only drink his own wine in 1 gulp. The atmosphere at the table relaxed as the wine grew stronger. The two began to talk about the past, and Lin Yutong shared many interesting stories from his graduate and doctoral studies, which made Wang Fugui listen with great interest. Soon, a bottle of Maodai was finished by the two. Feeling unfulfilled, Lin Yutong contacted the school supermarket to send a Braveheart beer. The two started blowing into bottles, then switching bowls, and the atmosphere grew more and more heated. Toward the end, they taunted each other and drank from pots. The first time Lin Yutong drank so ostentatiously, his small mouth couldn't hold back the vegetable pots, and the wine flowed down his neck. It makes the whole outfit lighter and lighter. Wang Fugui was the first to finish a pot. Looking at the opposite Chun light exposed Lin Yutong cannot help but feel a little dry mouth. After 2 hours, Wang Fugue felt a little drunk, while Lin Yutong was even more drunk that he started to float when he walked, speaking more directly as well. As the wine grew stronger, Lin Yutong's cheeks were tinted with a faint blush, her defenses slowly loosening under the effect of alcohol. The normally serious counselor began to spill his guts in his drunken stupor. Fortune, you know what? Your talent is really a rare sight in 1,000 years. Lin Yutong's voice carried a hint of disorientation, but his eyes revealed genuine emotion. You're so good. Your genes must be good too. You have to keep more offspring. It can't go to waste. Wang Fugue was a bit caught off guard by Lin Yutong's sudden confession. He smiled helplessly and tried to resolve the awkward atmosphere. Mr. Lin, you've had too much to drink, and your words are starting to be irrelevant. Lin Yutong didn't seem to realize his outburst and continued. No, Fugue, I'm serious. My parents have been urging me to get married lately. Look, why don't you help out, top me off, and solve my parents' urging for marriage? I'll be sure to have a big thank you. Wang Fugue was really crying and laughing now. He didn't expect Lin Yutong to make such a request. Trying to understand Lin Yutong's situation while pondering how to politely decline this absurd offer. Teacher Lin, I understand your confusion, but I don't think this is a good way to solve the problem. Wang Fugue tried to keep his tone as gentle as possible. Marriage is a matter between two people. You can't just find someone to take over. Moreover, I have my own life and plans. I can't just agree to you like this. When Lin Yutong heard Wang Fugue's reply, she seemed to have realized that she was out of line. She smiled awkwardly and waved her hand. Look at me. I'm really drunk and babbling. Don't take it to heart. Just pretend I didn't say anything. Lin Yutong poured herself a drink, the foam of beer slowly rising in her glass, while her eyes revealed a hint of despondency. She said softly, My family knows that I'm busy and contacted 10 blind dates for me, waiting for me to go back one by one on weekends. Thinking that I'm going to find someone I don't like to marry in the future, it feels like there's no point in living. Wang Fugue couldn't help but feel a tightness in his heart when he heard Lin Yutong's words. He knew that if a woman of Lin Yutong's independent character was unhappy after marriage, it might indeed have a great impact on her life, and might even end this life directly. An inexplicable heartache welled up in Wang Fugue's heart. He thought of the heaven-defying system he possessed and resolved not to let such a thing happen. Since God gave me this system, I can't leave any regrets in my life, and I can't just watch you fall into the fire. Wang Fugue secretly decided in his heart. He moved his chair and sat beside Lin Yutong, wrapped his arm around her shoulder, and gently smiled. What's wrong with that? As a brother, I will definitely help you solve those 10 blind dates and make sure that your parents won't press for another marriage. When Lin Yutong heard Wang Fugue's words, she was in a great mood. She directly hugged Wang Fugue's face and kissed him, and said gratefully, Thank you, Fugue, say it. What kind of heavy thanks do you want? As long as I have it, I can give it to you. Wang Fugue also got bold after drinking and said half-jokingly, What if I say what I want is you give or take? Lin Yutong didn't hesitate and responded, What's wrong with that? It's better to give it to a blind date than to you. Come on, go to the bedroom. Whoever backs out is a turtle. After saying that, Lin Yutong pulled Wang Fugue towards the bedroom. The effect of alcohol made both of their reasoning a little blurred. Wang Fugue today, at the first sight of Lin Yutong, suppressed a fire, now rubbing fire, were to extinguish. The flame in his heart was completely ignited. He could no longer suppress his emotions. Chapter 62. Drunk and Disorderly X. On this night, the relationship between the two men changes profoundly as they enter a new world together. This night was unforgettable for both Wang Fugue and Lin Yutong. The following day, Saturday morning, the sunlight poured through the cracks in the curtains into Lin Yutong's bedroom. An atmosphere of warmth and serenity pervaded the room, and neither of the two men in the bed had any intention of getting up early. Lin Yutong slept until 10 in the morning without realizing it, which was extremely rare for her. She had never been so relaxed in school. In a daze, Lin Yutong opened his eyes. She felt a strange sensation in her body as her memories gradually came back to her, and the events of last night began to surface in her mind. She remembers that her conversations with Wang Fugue became bold. The alcohol allowed her to release her usual constraints, and some of the things she normally wouldn't dare to say became easy to exit last night. She couldn't help the blush that colored her cheeks as she recalled her words and actions last night. Lin Yutong gently moved his body to get up, but accidentally let the covers slip. It was then that she realized she was naked, and the strange sensations in her body made her instantly realize what had happened last night. Her memories are becoming clearer, including the intimacy between the two and her own initiated behavior. She felt ashamed, as if her whole head had turned into a ripe apple. She carefully moved Wang Fugue's arm around her away, but she didn't expect Wang Fugue to open his eyes at that moment. He gave Lin Yutong a disoriented look, then looked at himself, and repeated the confirmation 3 times, his eyes growing wider and wider. Lin Yutong was so shy that she hurriedly covered Wang Fugue's mouth with her hand, fearing that he would say something embarrassing. In this moment, she decided that silence was golden and that it was better to say nothing. However, the palm of the hand that covered Wang Fugue's mouth came with a strange sensation, and she realized Wang Fugue's physical reaction. Immediately afterward, Wang Fugue looked like a hungry tiger pouncing on him and once again embraced Lin Yutong in his arms. The relationship heats up again on this weekend morning as they continue to explore each other emotionally and physically in this intimate space. The experience of this night and this morning was a new one for Lin Yutong. She never thought she would be so indulgent, but the emotion she felt with Wang Fugue made her willing to try and explore. She knew that this experience would be an unforgettable part of her life and might change some of her views and choices for the future. Daylight flooded the room through the curtains, and the time had crept unconsciously to noon. Wang Fugue and Lin Yutong finally came back from their passion and got up to start preparing for a new day. The two men were dressed and cleaned up, and then sat facing each other at the dining room table. The table was set with a simple breakfast, and the atmosphere was serene compared to last night's fire. Lin Yutong gently coughed twice in an attempt to break the silence. She raised her head and said in a calm tone, "Today is Saturday. Come home with me in the evening. It's not far. It's just on the outskirts of the capital city. It's just a little over an hour to take a taxi over there." Her voice, though weak, revealed a hint of anticipation. Wang Fugue immediately realized that since he had promised Lin Yutong, he had to do his best to help make things right. He nodded his head and responded, "Okay, no problem. I'll go get a formal outfit later. I thought that since I had already taken the prize in advance, I would naturally do a good job." At the same time, Wang Fugue considered the problem of transportation and felt that it might not be very convenient to take a taxi to the suburbs, especially when coming back. So, immediately, arrangements were made for Rem and Ram to help him purchase a practical SUV and have some gifts in the trunk for the occasion. He knew that more than just Lin Yutong's parents might be present at that time, and it was always good to prepare more gifts. By the way, there are also red envelopes. Prepare a few red envelopes. This side of the custom do not know how much to wrap the appropriate, but since it is to meet the elders, the courtesy is not strange. A red packet of 1W. Prepare 20 of them to give to relatives and friends who will be there or whatever. Also have a 50W in a bag as a meet and greet gift for the two seniors. After the order was sent to Rem and Ram, Wang Fugue looked at Lin Yutong and realized that she was still keeping her head down like an ostrich. Obviously, she still needed some time to buffer and adapt. Wang Fugue didn't say anything more, and after a brief farewell, he left Lin Yutong's apartment first, and the two of them agreed to meet at the school gate at 4 p.m. Lin Yutong answered in a voice as thin as a fly, but still didn't have the courage to raise his head and look directly at Wang Fugue. Wang Fugue smiled and left, leaving Lin Yutong some alone time to organize her emotions and thoughts. It wasn't until the door closed that Lin Yutong looked up, tears in her eyes. Tears she didn't know if she was happy or sad. In the future, how should one face Wang Fugue? The age difference between the two is 11 years. Although Wang Fugue has reached the legal marriage age of 18 years old in Manhwa, but the age gap is there. After thinking for a while, Lin Yutong decided to think about this issue later. Over at her old home, 10 blind dates were still waiting for her. Other side, Rem and Ram acted quickly after receiving Wang Fugue's order. They dressed up and headed to the nearby Porsche 4S store. Upon entering the store, their unique appearance immediately attracted everyone's attention. Rem's blue hair and black pupils and Ram's pink hair and red pupils, combined with a maid outfit, made them stand out in the crowd. Numerous customers and salespeople crowded around, and after confirming that it was Rem and Ram themselves, asked for a photo with them. Rem responded with a gentle smile, fulfilling everyone's requests. And though Ram was inwardly reluctant, she knew she couldn't lose her temper in public, lest she get her master in trouble. Therefore, she could only stand there as well, and despite her expressionless face, her high facial features attracted the same attention. After the photo session, Rem and Ram were led by the sales staff to the Cayenne area. They had already identified the model they wanted to buy, the latest Porsche Cayenne Fuel Edition top-of-the-line model, by searching in advance and selecting all the options that would enhance their looks, performance, and comfort. In the end, they landed two 80W plus on-site pickup price increase of 20W equals total price of 300W to buy the car in full. The whole process is dry, no more than 10 minutes. In the process of purchasing the car, three middle-aged men noticed Rem and Ram's large sums of money, and after discussing privately, they decided to raid the sisters together. They came up and struck up a conversation, hoping to exchange contact information. Rem was about to respond in kind, but Ram stopped him. Ram rejected their request outright and made it clear that they were only loyal to their master and would have no interest in anyone else. Chapter 63. Approaching people with billions of dollars, fortune, and worthiness. After the purchase was complete, Rem and Ram didn't linger, drove the car directly to the pickup area, put on a temporary license plate, and drove away from the 4S store, leaving the three men in the wind. They then went to the bank to withdraw the money and packaged it into red packets as requested by Wang Fuguei, and then went to the shopping center to buy some gift boxes to give as gifts to Wang Fuguei's relatives and elders. Rem and Ram were amazingly efficient throughout. Even when he encounters a large number of fans at the shopping center, Ram simply ignores them and incidentally picks up the back of Rem's collar, causing Rem to explain himself to the fans while being dragged away by Ram in a scene that is quite a bit of secondary comedy. Once back at the villa, Rem and Ram put everything in order, and it took less than an hour and a half. They are focused on getting things done and are not distracted by any outside factors. The loyalty and efficiency of this pair of sisters had undoubtedly helped Wang Fuguei immensely and made his trust in them even deeper. At 4 p.m., Wang Fuguei drove his car and appeared at the school entrance on time, wearing a formal suit that looked both presentable and handsome. It made the originally student-looking Wang Fuguei look like a young man of about 22. Shortly afterward, Lin Yutong also appeared, her demeanor having regained its composure, wearing glasses, her long hair simply tied back, and an orange shirt with slacks and mid-heeled sandals, though there was still an imperceptible blush on his face. The two of them smiled at each other, and Wang Fuguei opened the door of his newly purchased Cayenne. Invite Lin Yutong to get in the car. The car slowly pulled out of the campus and drove in the direction of the outskirts of the capital. Wang Fuguei drove his new Porsche Cayenne and drove Lin Yutong through the hustle and bustle of the city toward the suburbs. The car sped along the wide national highway and soon turned onto a narrower country road. The suburbs here are not as dirty as one would expect, but instead give a sense of tranquility and peace, more like a developing town. According to Lin Yutong's guidance, Wang Fuguei drove his car to the end of the village. Lin Yutong's home is a small two-story house covering about 200 square meters, and its appearance looks quite new. In front of the house was a small concrete, paved yard surrounded by a solid concrete fence. Wang Fuguei parked the car securely into the courtyard, and by now, he could already see a lot of people gathered in the courtyard. They walked into the house, and there were two tables set up in the hall, with 5 or so males between the ages of 25 and 35 sitting at each table, which would be the blind dates arranged by the family that Lin Yutong had mentioned earlier. Wang Fuguei, in the parking process, has thought of how to cleverly send off these blind dates. After getting off the bus, Wang Fuguei first went to the trunk and took out the gifts prepared for Lin's father and mother. He prepared a box of flying Mutai wine, 10 soft Chinese cigarettes, and a caddy of valuable tea cakes for Lin's father. And for Lin's mother, a whole set of limited edition beauty kits, as well as a 10-kilogram gold brick and an imperial green bracelet. The value of these gifts speaks for itself and is enough to make anyone's eyes pop. Wang Fuguei entered the house with the gift. When Lin's father and mother first saw that Lin Yutong had brought back a young man, the expressions on their faces were not enthusiastic. But when they saw the gifts that Wang Fuguei brought, their attitude immediately changed, enthusiastically accepting the gifts and saying repeatedly, "Yutong's friend, just come. What gifts are you bringing?" Lin's mother put the gift aside and curiously asked Wang Fuguei, "Young man, what's your name and what do you do?" Wang Fuguei replied politely, "My name is Wang Fuguei. I'm still studying at the Tsinghua University." Lin's father sniffed and was slightly puzzled. "You're also a student at the Beijing University, yeah? Then you're in a much younger grade than Yutong, aren't you?" Wang Fuguei wittily responded, "No, female big 3, hold gold bricks. You see, I don't send you gold bricks to come." Lin's father asked in disbelief, "You're a student. Where did you get the money to buy all this?" Wang Fugawei said calmly, "Oh, I engage in academics by myself. The International Academic Organization rewarded more than 10 million, and then my patent conversion results earned more than 100 million." Lin's father's eyes widened, and his voice couldn't help but raise a few points. "How much did you say?" Wang Fugawei calmly repeated, "More than 100 million dragon coins, and we'll continue to share the money later. I have a share in it." Lin Yutong listened on the side and cast Wang Fugawei a questioning look. When Wang Fugawei saw it, he responded to her with a look, "You didn't ask me either." Although Lin's father was a bit incredulous, but looking at the value of the gifts from Wang Fugawei, which were worth at least a few $1,000,000, it shouldn't be a fake. The few blind dates in the hall saw Lin Yutong bring back a young man, and originally thought they were going to have one more competitor, but when they saw Wang Fugawei driving a Porsche Cayenne and giving such an expensive gift, they realized that this young man was extraordinary. They looked at each other and decided to leave together, so as not to stay and be embarrassed. Eventually, there were only two people left at the table. These two men, both local businessmen and worth over $10 million, were moved to marry this highly qualified woman when they heard that Lin Yutong was not only highly educated, but also beautiful and unattached. However, they never expected to meet such a strong opponent as Wang Fugawei. Wang Fugawei's arrival and his generous handwriting made these two men in business feel the pressure. They knew that Wang Fugawei's financial power clearly exceeded theirs. But now that we're here, there's no reason to give up so easily. They exchanged a look with each other and decided to put up a fight after all. After all, this competition didn't require them to bear any costs. And if they won, they could hold the beauty, and if they lost, they had nothing to lose. Wang Fugawei turned around and saw that there were still two people left. He smiled slightly and already had a plan in his mind. He walked in front of the two and said softly, "I'm not hiding anything from the two of you, but I've already broken through the last of my relationship with Whispering Hall. It's not good for the two of you to do anything to help beat the lovebirds, right? Of course, I can't let you two make a trip for nothing. This is for you two to take to tea." With that, he took out 2 gold bricks from the bag and handed them to the two men. The two men each opened the bag, only to see a whole heavy gold brick lying inside, weighing at least 1 kilogram. They know that such a gold brick is worth over $500,000. Although they were worth millions of dollars, their liquidity was only $1 million or $800,000, and they usually did not go to buy such expensive gold bricks. Seeing Wang Fugawei give such a big gift so easily, the two realized that the relationship between Lin Yutong and Wang Fugawei might have been very deep. The two looked at each other and thought that since they could no longer compete, they might as well stop their losses in time and take the gold bricks and leave. They stood up and said to Lin Yutong and Wang Fugawei, "Then we won't bother you any longer. Wishing you two an early birth," and left. Chapter 64. Lin Yutong looked at Wang Fugawei, a hint of surprise flashing in his eyes. She didn't expect Wang Fugawei to solve the dilemma at hand so easily. Wang Fugawei, on the other hand, smiled faintly at her, signaling that everything had been taken care of. Lin's father and mother looked at the scene in front of them. They had only hoped that their daughter would find a good home, and their own daughter was disgusted by blind dates. If it wasn't for the two families' kind words, Lin Yutong wouldn't have brought him back this weekend. "I didn't expect to bring a surprise back as soon as I came back. This Wang Fugawei is not only young and talented, but also so generous." Their impression of Wang Fugawei changed dramatically, and they began to seriously consider his possibilities as a son-in-law. With the departure of the other matchmakers, tranquility returned to the Lin family's courtyard. At this time, only Lin's father, Lin's mother, and Lin Yutong's second and youngest uncles, who had heard that Lin Yutong had brought her boyfriend home and had specially rushed over from the village, were left. Each family brought a family of 4, parents plus 2 children, to sit around the yard in a lively manner. Seeing this, Wang Fugawei already had an idea in his mind. He was never ambiguous and went straight to a $10,000 red packet for each person. Such a large sum of money made the two families overjoyed, and they took the red envelope and praised Wang Fugawei for his understanding and youthfulness. Lin Yutong stood by the side, watching Wang Fugawei's actions. Her heart was both grateful and a little helpless. She knew that Wang Fugawei was using money to win his family's approval, although it was a little cheesy, but it worked fast. At dinner time, Lin's father and mother prepared a hearty farmhouse meal, with native chickens and ducks filling the table. At the table, everyone sat around in a warm and welcoming atmosphere. At this time, the younger uncle seemed to mention the difficulties of the family intentionally or unintentionally, He said that the younger aunt had chronic renal failure and needed continuous dialysis treatment. The family's financial situation was very difficult, and they could only count on Lin's father to be able to help out. Upon hearing this, Lin's father looked puzzled and said that he would definitely help if he could. But at the same time, he also mentioned that his own daughter was still unmarried and that the family's financial pressure was not small. As soon as the words fell, the gazes of the people at the table turned to Wang Fuguei again in unison. Wang Fuguei understood in his heart that this was a good opportunity for him to establish his authority in the Lin family. He thought to himself that he couldn't always get his blood sucked like this in the future, but since this was his first visit, he had to show something. So he took out a bag containing 200,000 yuan from his bag, handed it to his little uncle, and said, "Little uncle, you can take this money to treat your little aunt first, and if it's not enough, I'll think of something later." The younger uncle and aunt took the bag, opened it, saw a pile full of cash, and immediately smiled with joy. They began to ask Lin Yutong and Wang Fuguei when they planned to hold a wedding banquet, have children, and other questions, causing Lin Yutong's ears to burn, and he didn't know how to answer. The dinner went on in such a cordial atmosphere, and the relatives of the Lin family were all full of praise for Wang Fuguei. Wang Fuguei's generosity and magnanimity won their respect and affection. Lin Yutong watched all this, his heart filled with gratitude to Wang Fuguei. She knew that Wang Fuguei was not only helping her family with money, but also integrating into her family with his heart. This night, the Lin family's house was lit up with laughter and conversation. Wang Fuguei's arrival not only brought wealth to the Lin family, but also hope and joy. And for Wang Fuguei, it was the first step in his integration into the Lin Yutong family. He knew that the only way to win Lin Yutong's heart was to truly become part of the family. This will work faster than going straight after Lin Yutong. Not long after the start of the meal, a few elders began to persuade wine. Wang Fuguei wanted to politely refuse, but could not withstand the enthusiasm of the elders, so he began to fight with them to drink. Lin Yutong watched from the sidelines, secretly anxious. She remembered what happened last night when Wang Fuguei got drunk. Her face couldn't help but blush. As the amount of alcohol increased, Wang Fuguei's face became redder and redder, and Lin Yutong, worried that something might happen to him if he really drank too much, began to hold back the alcohol for him. She knew that if Wang Fuguei got drunk again, he might have to lie on the floor tonight. Eventually, with Lin Yutong's help, Wang Fuguei was able to stay sober, although he was a little drunk. After the meal, Lin Yutong laboriously helped Wang Fuguei into his room, washing his face, taking off his shoes, and covering him up. After settling Wang Fuguei, Lin Yutong prepared to go to the second bedroom to rest. At this time, Lin's mother suddenly slapped her forehead and said, "Oops, there's so much clutter in the second bedroom that it's impossible to sleep." Lin Yutong suggested, "Then I'll sleep upstairs." Lin's mother replied again, "The upstairs hasn't been cleaned for a few months. It's too dusty and can't sleep. Why don't you make do with Xiao Wang for one night? We're both boyfriend and girlfriend. What are you afraid of?" Lin Yutong had no choice but to agree. After she washed up, she returned to Wang Fuguei's room, and the two of them shared a room once again. She lay beside Wang Fuguei and sighed in her heart that the experience of these 2 days was like a dream. She used to only get that euphoric feeling when she achieved a major academic achievement, but since yesterday until today, she had been in a constant state of euphoria, causing her to be unable to sleep at all right now. Just as Lin Yutong was about to fall asleep in a daze, suddenly felt a big hand reached over, followed by Wang Fuguei like last night, once again showed his tiger pounce. Before Lin Yutong had time to react, she was tightly embraced by Wang Fuguei. Meanwhile, Lin's mother was sitting outside the door, getting high on melon seeds while listening to the movements inside the house. When she heard a noise from inside, a satisfied smile appeared on her face before she walked away gingerly. She was secretly happy that her daughter had finally found a good home, and by the looks of it, the two of them were in a very good relationship. Maybe we'll have grandchildren sometime. That night, the lights in Lin's house stayed on, and the relationship between Wang Fuguei and Lin Yutong was quietly sublimated. The next morning, when they walked out of the room together, the relatives of the Lin family looked at them with a kind of you-know-what look, which made Lin Yutong feel ashamed, while Wang Fuguei was full of smugness. The experience of these 2 days was unprecedented for Lin Yutong. She never expected her life to take such a dramatic turn, but she was both surprised and happy that it had happened. As for Wang Fuguei, he knew that he had not only won Lin Yutong's heart, but had also integrated into her family and become a member of the Lin family. Before leaving, Wang Fugue took out the other prepared gifts from the trunk of the Porsche Cayenne and distributed them one by one to Lin's mother, as well as the second and youngest uncles who came over again. Looking at the smiles on his family's faces, Wang Fugue also felt a warmth in his heart. After the gifts were distributed and everyone was happy, Wang Fugue and Lin Yutong set off on their way home. The car slowly drove out of the Lin family's small courtyard. Wang Fugue reminded himself to concentrate on driving, but Lin Yutong on the passenger seat was wearing a hot pants today, which matched her shirt and perfectly showed off the advantages of her figure. Chapter 65, Reward for Raiding Lin Yutong. Wang Fugue secretly glanced at her from time to time, and his heart couldn't help but go ape. When the car passed through a wide meadow, Lin Yutong suddenly asked Wang Fugue to stop the car. She took Wang Fugue's hand, and the two of them walked towards the grass together. Lin Yutong explained that this sloping meadow was where she played with other children when she was a child, and that they liked to roll down the slope and feel that carefree joy. The two of them slowly walked down the slope, and Lin Yutong led Wang Fugue through the grass and into the small forest on the opposite side. Hidden there was her secret base as a child, a small house built by a few children together, made of plastic, leaves, and rope, with swings outside. When I got closer, the little house was still there, and it appeared that someone else had repaired it, and the swing was made of old tires. Lin Yutong's playfulness was so great that she sat on the swing and let Wang Fugue push her. After Wang Fugue checked the stability of the swing, he began to push hard. As the swing swings, Lin Yutong's laughter echoes in the air, and her long hair flutters in the wind, as if the happy days of her childhood have reappeared. The swing's swing gradually decreased, and Wang Fugue saw the right moment to stop the swing, pulling Lin Yutong back from behind and letting her gently lean on his arm. Two men, one at the bottom and one at the top, one in front and one behind, looked at each other in all directions. In such a romantic atmosphere, Lin Yutong felt Wang Fugue's gentle kiss. This kiss was different from the impulsive and passionate one before. It was full of tenderness and deep feeling. Lin Yutong closed his eyes and immersed himself in this sweetness. The sunlight poured through the gaps in the leaves, showering the two of them, and everything around them became peaceful and beautiful. At this moment, Lin Yutong finally experienced the romance she had always dreamed of. When the two separated, Lin Yutong's face was beaming with happiness. She knew that this experience would be one of the most cherished memories of her life. Wang Fugue looked at Lin Yutong's smile, and his heart was also filled with satisfaction and happiness. He knew that he had won Lin Yutong's heart, and that this love would be a valuable asset for them together. The afternoon sun pours down on the earth, adding a bit of warmth to this quiet inland lake. Wang Fugue drove the car and led Lin Yutong slowly along the path by the lake. He had looked at the map earlier and knew that he would pass by this beautiful lake on the way ahead, so he had deliberately arranged this part of the trip. They reached a dock on the lake where a number of people had gathered, some walking, some picnicking, and some camping. Wang Fugue and Lin Yutong chose a pedal boat in the shape of a small swan, and the two of them embarked on a romantic journey on the lake. The lake shimmered, and the boat moved slowly forward as the two stepped on it. Wang Fugue was mainly responsible for pedaling while Lin Yutong relaxed and enjoyed the breeze and sunshine of the lake. She smiled and said, "Fortune, you put in a little more effort. I'm still a little sore from it." Hearing this, Wang Fugue responded with a smile, "No problem. Let me be your boatman today." The two of them had been swimming on the lake for a while when Wang Fugue suddenly stopped the boat. He took a small box out of his pocket and handed it to Lin Yutong. Lin Yutong excitedly took the box and opened it with great anticipation, only to find it empty. She instantly looked at Wang Fugue with a puff of air, not understanding what this meant. Seeing this, Wang Fugue smiled and stretched out his other fisted hand, then slowly spread out his palm. A delicate diamond ring lay in the palm of his hand. He carefully picked up the ring, took Lin Yutong's right hand, and gently placed the ring on her ring finger. The ring is engraved with the words WFGLYT, which is the abbreviation of both of their names, meaning that Lin Yutong will be Wang Fugue's person from now on. Lin Yutong looked at the ring on his hand, and his heart was filled with emotion. She knew that the ring was not just a piece of jewelry, but a symbol of Wang Fugue's commitment and love for her. She looked up at Wang Fugue, tears glistening in her eyes. "Fugue, thank you. This is the best gift I've ever received." Wang Fugue looked at Lin Yutong's happy appearance and felt very satisfied in his heart. It occurred to him that he should also customize a similar ring for Ji Ruming and in Yueshi. After all, he should treat each of his beloveds fairly. He wanted them to feel the same happiness and be cherished. The sun was setting, and the shadows of the two men were drawn across the lake. Wang Fugui and Lin Yutong snuggled with each other on the boat, enjoying the tranquility and romance. At this moment, it was as if they were isolated from the world, with only each other's heartbeats and the ripples of the lake accompanying them. As the last glow of the setting sun disappeared into the horizon, Wang Fugui and Lin Yutong reluctantly left the lake and embarked on their homeward journey. The experience of this day was unforgettable and beautiful for them, and a major milestone in their love. Send Lin Yutong back to his apartment. He can't stay in Lin Yutong's apartment again tonight, or else it will be from now on that the king doesn't have a morning court. Back inside the villa, laying into the bathtub where Rem had put warm water and bath milk in advance, Wang Fugui relaxed physically and mentally. Ding! System. Rating the S-class goddess Lin Yutong, rewarding the marrow cleansing scripture. Wang Fugui. What did you say about the reward? System. Marrow cleansing scripture. A high-level internal martial arts technique whose main effects include the following. 1. Strengthening the physique. The practice of the marrow cleansing scripture is able to improve and strengthen the physique of the practitioner, giving him or her a stronger physical quality and vitality. Through marrow cleansing and hair removal, it achieves the effect of cleansing impurities from the body and strengthening the bone marrow and meridians, thus dramatically improving the body's recovery ability and resistance to blows. 2. Healing wounds and diseases. The marrow cleansing scripture tends to have a powerful healing effect, and practitioners can accelerate the healing of wounds and even cure some common diseases and internal injuries by practicing the heart technique of the marrow cleansing scripture. 3. Prolonging life. In some novels, the practice of the marrow cleansing sutra is also able to prolong the life of the practitioner, enabling one to achieve the effect of prolonging life. Through deep activation of the life force and improvement of the physique, the practitioner is able to live longer. For cultivation of the mind, in addition to improvements to the body, the cultivation of the marrow cleansing scripture may also involve cultivation of the mind, helping the practitioner to achieve a state of peace of mind and concentration of the spirit, so that he or she can better master and utilize other martial arts skills. Wang Fugui. Good stuff, but it doesn't say exactly what you can reach. System. First, it can strengthen the body about 2 to 10 times. If you are directly 10 times the effect, others depend on the situation and enlightenment. Secondly, increase the speed of recovery, including the speed of energy and stamina recovery, and the speed of injury recovery. Also 2 to 10 times. You remain 10 times. Together with proper exercise, you can reach 7 nights at a time. Thirdly, prolonging biological organism activity. Probably by 5 to 50 years, you're straight up 50 years. Others depend. Fourth, to cultivate the body and improve the state of mind and temperament. Wang Fugui. Kudos to you. I'll practice first, and then give others a chance to practice as well. By the way, I'm getting more and more famous here lately, and I feel like it's risky to go out, so get me an all-around bodyguard. System. No problem. The kernel data of the combat type intelligent robot is configured. Please indicate the robot model and its area of specialization. Chapter 66. The Smartest Man in the Dragon Kingdom. Wang Fugui thought a little and said, take my King Saber as a model, specializing in weapons as swords, and match her with a weapon that could be invisible and automatically retracted. Less part of the place can't be entered with a weapon. System. Okay, in the model configuration, there are 2 forms. One is the daily form, such as the shirt and skirt with black socks in the anime, and the other is the battle form, clad in silver armor and wielding nanotechnology weapons, usually worn on Saber's wrist in the shape of a watch, which can be transformed into armor as well as a heavy sword during battle. Wang Fugui. Nice work. Name it Leia. Otherwise, it's too middle-aged to call it Saber. System. Okay. Intelligent combat robot Leia is configured. Identity information is being prepared. Report to the villa area after all formalities are complete. After listening to the system's arrangement, Wang Fugui got up with satisfaction. The marrow cleansing sutra began to operate within his mind. 2 hours later, Wang Fugui felt unprecedented relief, his body as light as a feather. Explosive gains in strength and agility, all of which can now take on Batman solo. It's just that looking covered in sludge, it needs another bath, and it can't be a bathtub. Explosive physical qualities, coupled with the customized beef fighting techniques in the system for Wang Fugui. Blink plus 1-hit kill. This is the pinnacle of human fighting, isn't it? Before he could enjoy a moment of peace and quiet, his cell phone rang. He picked up his cell phone and saw that it was Lin Yutong calling. He was delighted in his heart, thinking that Lin Yutong was missing him, and hurriedly picked up the phone. Yutong, did you miss me? Wang Fugue asked with a smile. Fortune, I did miss you a bit, but I'm calling on business. Lin Yutong's voice sounded a bit serious. I've just been informed by my superiors that there's a TV program in the Dragon Kingdom called The Smartest Man in the Dragon Kingdom, and they're inviting you to participate. Wang Fugue had originally planned to refuse. He didn't like to be overly exposed in front of the public, but at that moment, a voice rang in his head. It was a new quest released by his system. Ding! System, mission. Go to the Smartest Man in Dragon Country program. Obtain the title of the strongest brain in the country, and defeat the international team in the subsequent international competition. Upon completion of the mission, you will receive a generous reward. Hearing the system's prompt, Wang Fugue's heart was suddenly lit up with fighting spirit. Wang Fugue is the most patriotic, and it is incumbent on young people of my generation to fight for our country. Yutong, I've made up my mind. I'll go to this program. Wang Fugue's voice was firm and strong. Really? That's great. Lin Yutong sounded happy too. I'll be cheering you on in front of the TV. A few days later, Wang Fugue stood at the backstage of the taping of The Smartest Man in the Dragon Kingdom program. The stage was brightly lit, and the audience was packed. The host of the program enthusiastically introduces each contestant, who is basically a student at one of the world's top universities, as well as a variety of halos. As the program progressed, the atmosphere gradually warmed up. The host stands on the sparkling stage, microphone in hand, looking out into the audience with a smile on his face. His voice was loud and passionate as he began to introduce the next contestant. Dear viewers, the next contestant I'm going to introduce to you is a man whose story will inspire each and every one of us in our pursuit of knowledge and wisdom. He is the special guest of our Smartest Man in the Dragon Kingdom program. He has a ringing name and is a legend. He created history in the college entrance exam, and with a perfect score of 750 points, he became the first perfect score top student in the history of the Dragon Country's college entrance exam. What an amazing achievement. Enough to go down in history. The audience erupted in applause, and Wang Fugue's name was recited among the crowd. But this was not his only splendor. At Kyowa University, an institution that brings together the nation's top students, he once again proved his extraordinary talent. Amidst the fierce competition from many experts, Wang Fugue not only captured the first place in the school qualifier, but also with a perfect score. The host's words caused the atmosphere to rise even higher. What is more shocking is that this young genius has solved two worldwide mathematical problems that have plagued mankind for 100 years and 200 years, of which the most popular one is that the mathematical colleges of dozens of countries in the world have proved and issued notices that this genius has solved the very famous Riemann conjecture. He was also the first student at KYU allowed not to have to attend classes, and the first to become a distinguished professor of mathematics at KYU's Genius Concentration Camp at the age of 19 years old. The first student to reach number 1 on the Hot 103 times. His achievement is not only a personal honor, but also the pride of Dragon Country and even the whole world. The host's voice was filled with admiration. The more the host spoke, the more excited he became, and there was already a bit of a trill in his voice. I believe you've already guessed who he is, so let's all shout out his name next. His name is Wang Fugue. Wang Fugue walked onto the stage amidst the applause, dressed in a suit and with a firm stride, his eyes glittering with confidence and intelligence. Handsome face, slender posture, and dusty temperament made him stand out even among the crowd of schoolboys. Wang Fugue's dazzling achievements had undoubtedly made him a target. The other academic players present, although they each had extraordinary achievements in their academic fields, Wang Fugue's appearance made them feel an unprecedented pressure. They secretly fought in their hearts and decided to give this young genius a hard time in the match. These schoolboy contestants got together and exchanged ideas and strategies with each other. They know that although Wang Fugue scored a perfect score in the exam, the competition of the Smartest Man in the Dragon Country program is not just an exam, but an all-around competition involving memory, logic, calculation, graphical analysis, and many other abilities. He may be talented in math, but he may not be as good as me in memory. A schoolboy contestant with an amazing memory said confidently, "Logical reasoning is my strong point. I'd like to see if he can be perfect on logic questions as well." Another player with outstanding logical analysis skills sneered at the plan. "Calculation speed and accuracy. I'm professionally trained. He may not win." A player who specialized in speed calculations also began to rub his fists. "Graphical analysis requires spatial imagination and creativity. I don't believe he can do everything." A player who had a unique insight in graphical analysis also began to lay out his tactics. They decided to go all out in the competition, using their specialties to challenge Wang Fuguei and beat him in a certain area as a way to prove their strength. They believed that even if Wang Fuguei had gotten a perfect score on his academic exams, he might not be able to be equally successful in this arena. Chapter 67. Is this hanging or cheating? At the taping of The Smartest Man in the Dragon, a tense and exciting audition is about to begin. Through 3 rounds of intense auditions, only the top 20 contestants in terms of total score could enter the next stage of PK. The first round of the competition was walking the Huayong Road, which is a test of the player's logical thinking and hand speed. The rules of the game are as follows. On a 6x6 board with 36 squares in total, there are 35 squares which the players need to move so that Chow Chow, who is located in the upper left corner, can move smoothly to the exit of Huarong Road, which is located in the lower right corner. The player with the first half of the time wins, and the second half is eliminated. Before the start of the competition, the 200 contestants who passed the primary auditions stood at their tables, which were covered with black cloth, with timers and monitoring equipment placed next to them, and each contestant was accompanied by a referee. The game starts with a command from the host, and everyone quickly lifts the black cloth and starts moving the cubes around. The moment Wang Fuguei lifted the black cloth, his brain was like a computer running at high speed, quickly calculating the fastest he needed to move 94 steps for this Huarong Road solution. His eyes were focused, and his hands moved nimbly across the square, each step precise. It only took 22 seconds for Wang Fuguei to complete the entire Huarong Road challenge, ending first in the field. The referee certified that Wang Fuguei's score was valid, and the ranking was then displayed on the big screen. First place, Wang Fuguei, time, 22:19, 100 points. This was followed by the second through 50th place finishes. Wang Shuo finished second with a time of 29:56 and 98 points. Lin Xiqing followed in 30:35 with 97 points. In the end, Lily finished 100th with a time of 82:68 and 1 point. As the results were announced, the atmosphere became tense. The latter contestants tried hard, but in the end could not make it into the top 100 and were unfortunately eliminated. And Wang Fuguei won the first place in the first round of the competition with an absolute advantage. And his excellent performance won the applause of the audience and the unanimous praise of the judges. Wang Fuguei stood by the competition table and took a deep breath. Although he was satisfied with his performance, he knew that this was just the beginning and more challenges awaited him in the upcoming matches. With the first round over, the program went into a short break. Wang Fuguei and the other advanced contestants began to prepare for the next round, knowing that only by constantly improving themselves could they stand out on this competitive stage. The audience is also looking forward to see if Wang Fuguei can continue to maintain his leading position as the smartest man in the Dragon Kingdom. In the second round of The Smartest Guys in Dragonland, the contestants faced a memory test. The examiner takes out a deck of playing cards with the king and queen removed, and a total of 52 cards are randomly disordered in the hands. As the game begins, the examiner quickly displays these cards one by one, showing each card for only 1 second, and after 52 seconds, all the cards are displayed. After the demonstration, the atmosphere became tense. The countdown starts at 10 seconds, and all the players have a deck of undisturbed playing cards in front of them, and they need to arrange the cards in the order they have just been shown in a limited time. The player with the fastest time and highest accuracy will win the round. In the event of a time tie, accuracy will be judged first. If accuracy is also the same, the winner will be the one who takes less time. With the ringing of the tournament bell, all the contestants quickly took out the playing cards in front of them and began to set them up. Wang Fuguei had clearly memorized the order of all the cards during the display, and it was as if he had a clear image in his mind that guided his hands. His movements were swift and precise, and without a moment's hesitation, he placed the cards in place, one after the other. Wang Fuguei's technique was smooth, with no pauses throughout, and even after the pendulum was set, he used one hand to slide his hand through the cards with one hand, moving with grace and confidence. He pressed the timer and completed his challenge, then waited quietly for the referee to check in. The 2 referees, plus the host, take Wang Fuguei's cards and his score to the farther stage for display. They show the cards arranged by Wang Fuguei first, and then the correct cards. As a sheet of correct results appeared, there was no shortage of gasps. Though the audience tried to be as quiet as possible so as not to disturb the other contestants, their eyes were filled with admiration and amazement. After the examiner had finished carefully checking, he announced Wang Fugui's results. It took 45 seconds. The order was all correct, and he once again won the first place with 100 points. The second place results came out quickly as well, with a time of 68 seconds, correct sequence, and 90 points. Due to the large difference in the results, the points were also much more different. In the end, Wang Fugui once again took first place with an amazing score and entered the third round of the competition strongly. At the end of the round, a total of 25 people managed to advance. Every single one of them showed extraordinary talent and ability, but Wang Fugui was undoubtedly the one who shone the brightest. As the smartest man in the Dragon program enters its third round, the atmosphere becomes more tense and intense. This round tested the contestants' ability to do speed calculations, a challenge that demanded a high degree of reaction time and calculation accuracy. The bell rang for the start of the competition, and a countdown began on the big screen. 3, 2, 1. And then quickly the first set of calculation questions appeared. For the next 20 seconds, new questions appeared on the screen every second, totaling 20 questions, and the contestants needed to calculate the results and write them on the answer board in the shortest possible time. 1. 1234 plus 5,678 times 9101 to 8182 divided by 23. 2. 7654 by 321. 9876 divided by 45 plus 102. 3. 104 by 105. 103 superscript 2 divided by 102 plus 103. 4. 5,678 plus 8765 times 12,345 divided by 6789 to 5432. 5. 2468 by 3579, 4,567 divided by 89 by 12, plus 135. 6. 98,765 divided by 54,321 times 6587 to 6456, plus 100. 7. 3456 by 7890, 12345 divided by 6789 by 2, plus 2001. 8. 7890, 1234 times 456, 78901 divided by 123456789, 987, 6543. 9. 102, 938 for 756 divided by 97,653 plus 10,086 to 10,203. 10. 1111 by 1111, 2222 by 222, 333 by 333 plus 4,444 divided by 4. 11. 6,666 plus 7777 times 8,888 divided by 8887 to 6666. 12. 456.789 by 987.654. 123.456 by 789.012 plus 10101. 13. 89 by 101 divided by 90 to 89 plus 10,086.5 to 100.86. 14. 1001 by 9999, 999 by 101, 100 by 1.01. 15. 1234 by 5678, 5678 by 1234 plus 6789 by 9876 divided by 321. 16. 7,654 to 321 times 4,567 divided by 4,566 plus 1234, 10,000. 17. 987654321 divided by 11111. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 987654321 divided by 100 million. 18. 104, 8576 times 3, 209, 7152 divided by 4 plus 3 million. 19. 9999, 999, 9999 times 9999, 999, 9999 divided by 999,999 to 1, plus 100,000,000,000,000,000. 20. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 100 times 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 99. 1 by 100 plus 2 by 99 plus 99 by 1. Wang Fugui's eyes were locked onto the screen. His brain was like a supercomputer. Every time he saw a question, He could quickly calculate the answer and memorize it quickly. His hands were as if they had a consciousness of their own, and both hands flew on the answer board at the same time, with his left hand writing the answer to the first question, his right hand writing the answer to the second question, and then his left hand proceeding to write the answer to the third question, and his right hand writing the answer to the fourth question, and so on and so forth. Chapter 68. Light Abuse of Opponents. When the camera gave a close-up view, the audience and the judges were surprised to find that Wang Fugue's hands were able to work independently, an ability that is undoubtedly a huge advantage in a speed counting competition. When all 20 questions had appeared, Wang Fugue took an additional 3 seconds to complete his answer, taking a total of 23 seconds. As time went on, other contestants completed their answers, but it took generally longer. The second place took 36 seconds, the third place took 45 seconds, and the last person took 168 seconds, and he kept changing his answers during the process, obviously not confident in his answers. The answer verification phase began with the moderator showing the correct answer, and then the 25 Miss Manners showed each contestant's answer one by one. Some contestants were correct, some were wrong, and there was no doubt about Wang Fugue's answers. All 20 questions were correct, proving once again his extraordinary calculation ability. The second-place finisher got 1 question wrong, the third-place finisher got 3 questions wrong, and the last-place finisher got 12 questions wrong. Wang Fugue once again took first place with a perfect performance, scoring 100 points, second place scored 96 points, and third place scored 91 points. So far, Wang Fugue had entered the PK match strongly with an amazing score of 3/100ths of a point and 3 first places. The crowd was excited, the audience shouted wildly, and even the judges, experts, and famous professors from various universities praised Wang Fugue, giving him a very high evaluation of his talent and ability. The first recording of The Smartest Man in the Dragon came to an end and will be broadcast on TV the following day. Wang Fugue's outstanding performance will undoubtedly be one of the highlights of the program, and his name and accomplishments will be known to a wider audience. For Wang Fugue, this is just the beginning of his talent, and he will continue to move forward to meet more challenges and prove himself to be the smartest man in the Dragon Kingdom. With the broadcast of the first episode of The Smartest Man in the Dragon Kingdom, Wang Fugue's name once again created a wave of fervor on the internet. His outstanding performance, especially his amazing results in the speed counting and memorization sessions, has impressed the general public. His talent and prowess became a hot topic of discussion, with countless people retweeting and discussing his performance on social media. "Oh my god, this Wang Fugue is simply not human. How did his brain grow?" A netizen posted on the forum. "This is the real god of learning. Those school bullies in our school are nothing compared to him." Another netizen followed up with a reply. However, in the midst of all this acclaim, there are always discordant voices. Some of the Jets began to question Wang Fugue's results, believing that he had a backstage and knew about the problems of the competition in advance. They were posting all sorts of conspiracy theories on the internet, trying to belittle Wang Fugue's achievements. "There must be an inside job. How can someone be so good? It must be arranged by the show," one spammer wrote in the comments section. But these negative remarks did not affect Wang Fugue's reputation. On the contrary, the netizens who had already been proved by the facts of Wang Fugue's strength many times were now even more convinced that he was a true god of learning. These black powder attacks not only failed to shake Wang Fugue's status, but instead boosted the amount of topics for Wang Fugue from another angle, making his name even louder. In the world of education and academia, Wang Fugue became a legend. Many professors and educators are discussing his performance as a role model for the younger generation. They use Wang Fugue's story as an inspiring case study for their students, encouraging them to study hard and strive for excellence. In the mouths of parents, Wang Fugue has become a frequently mentioned other people's children. Parents use his story to educate their children, hoping that they can learn from Wang Fugue and become useful members of society. Wang Fugue's success story has not only inspired young people, but also influenced the community. His name and accomplishments became the talk of the town after dinner, and his wisdom and talent became the vision of countless hearts. The sponsors and the director's team were pleasantly surprised by the success of the first episode of The Smartest Man in the Dragon. They saw the huge traffic potential in Wang Fugue and decided to create a special set of rules around him in the second round of PK matches as a way to attract more viewers' attention. There were originally 25 players in the second PK round, and according to the rules, someone might have a turn. However, The directing team temporarily decided to change the program and put Wong Fugue in a separate category. They announced that any contestant who beat Wong Fugue once in their area of specialization would be able to directly advance to the top 12. Of course, the contestants can also choose to beat other opponents to enter the top 12. The introduction of this rule adds to the fireworks of the show and makes viewers look forward to the upcoming matches. At the show's taping, viewers were worried about Wong Fugue when they learned of this perverted rule. They knew it would be a challenge like no other. However, when the camera was pointed at Wong Fugue, he looked careless and even said somewhat arrogantly, "The program group is too kind to me. I should say, everyone should come to challenge me. Any project except for a job like eating shit. As long as you can win me, you can go to the next round." Wong Fugue's remarks infuriated the 24 players present. Some of them already knew about Wong Fugue's specialties in speed counting and memorization, and chose not to go head-to-head with him. However, there were 19 other contestants who decided to bring out their specialty and challenge Wong Fugue head-on. This kind of match, full of fireworks, is exactly the effect that the showrunners wanted. The first challenger, A, takes the stage and is challenged to smell. The rules of the contest were as follows. There were 1 to 50 glasses of pure water, and each glass of water had a different amount of edible white vinegar dropped into it, ranging from 0.1 to 5 drops. The bottom of the cups are pressed with the corresponding code and then randomly disrupted and placed. 3 additional cups are taken, a randomly selected number of drops are placed in them, and 2 players come to sniff the 3 cups at the same time, then go to the countertop to take the sniffs 1 cup at a time, removing the 3 cups of the same consistency. Correctness is preferred, and the one who takes less time with the same correctness wins. When the game started, they went to sniff 3 cups first, while Wong Fugue went straight to sniff 50 cups, came back to sniff 3 cups after sniffing them, then went straight back to his seat to write down the number and press the timer to end it, taking only 65 seconds. An opponent, A, has only just begun to sniff the 10th of the 50 cups. The moment Wong Fugue pressed the timer, A knew that he could only ensure a higher accuracy rate than Wong Fugue in order to win. So he slowed down, sniffing one by one repeatedly, sometimes going to all 3 cups to make sure, and eventually finished the race in 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Chapter 69. Completion of the first round challenge. The moderator then brought over the 2 men's answer panels and uncovered the covers one by one. Both agreed on the first and second answers, but not on the third. Just who was the last one to be wrong? If it was Wong Fugue who was wrong, then he lost outright, even though he took less time. Next is the moment to reveal the answer. For the first answer, both are correct. The second answer too. It was the turn of the third answer, and when the host gave a first digit, the crowd knew that Wong Fugue had won. As expected, Wong Fugue won the first set with his explosive speed and sniffing discrimination. The audience cheered for Wong Fugue's outstanding performance, while the other contestants were more alert. They knew that in order to defeat Wong Fugue, they had to bring out their best. For Wong Fugue, this is just the beginning, and he will continue to face more challenges to prove that he is the smartest man in the Dragon Kingdom. With the hot airing of the program, The Smartest Man in the Dragon Kingdom, Wong Fugue has become the focus of national attention. Each of his appearances sparks lively discussion and anticipation among the audience. The recording site for the second installment of the program was tense and full of anticipation, with everyone waiting for Wong Fugue's next amazing performance. Challenger B in the second game chose a challenging task: to find 5 microasteroids that were hidden in 2 almost identical star maps. These 2 charts contain 25,000 planets, and to observe and accurately identify the differences at a distance of 8 meters is an almost impossible task for the average person. Even if it could be done, it would take an hour or even multiple hours to complete. To be fair, B chooses to go first, while Wong Fugue must wait, blindfolded and wearing soundproof headphones, after B finishes. The on-site computer randomly generated star charts and omitted the 5 planets on one of them. B turned around, wide-eyed, and peered intently at the star chart on the big screen. He adopted the strategy of looking from all around to the center to avoid missing out. After 18 minutes of intense observation, B finally finished the race, his eyes red at the moment, obviously overused. And when the camera turned to Wong Fugue, the audience and the judges were crying and laughing as they realized that he had fallen asleep while waiting and was snoring slightly. The host wakes up Wong Fugue and teases him if he went to steal chickens and dogs last night. Wong Fugue just smiled, indicating if it was his turn. Wong Fugue walks to the fight position, his back to the big screen, and the fight chart is the same as B's. After the host announced the start of the match, Wang Fuge turned to look at the star map and lightly laughed in his heart. How difficult could it be? His super brain quickly scanned through it and gave the answer in 1 second. But in order not to be too shocking, Wang Fugue still looked left and right at each other several times and started circling 5 positions after 30 seconds, ending the match in 40 seconds. Contestant B and the live audience felt nonplussed as they questioned if Wang Fugue was open or knew the answer in advance. Faced with questions from the floor, the host asked Wang Fugue if he had any explanations. Wang Fugue just laughed. If what I can do can be done by others, then why am I the smartest person in the Dragon Kingdom? In order to prove his strength, Wang Fugue asked the computer to randomize one more competition star map on the spot, and he accepts the challenge again. This time, it only took him 25 seconds to come up with an answer. Seeing that everyone was still skeptical, the computer was once again asked to come up with a random copy of the star map, and once again the race was completed in 24 seconds. At this moment, Wang Fugue said to everyone, "Do you still need me to prove anything?" The audience and judges felt that there was no need to continue the competition and unanimously agreed that Wang Fugue won. The third contestant, C, chose the challenge of recognizing heights by hearing voices, and this was simply a bump in the road for Wang Fugue. The sound of steel balls falling at different heights and hitting granite. Wang Fugue finished off his opponents with 5 questions that were accurate to the centimeter. And one of the best answers by an opponent was 0.5 centimeters difference in height from the answer. The fourth player, D, chose to be more observant. 36 girls from the popular female celebrity team, Group SN36, danced a live dance, then sat scattered, with 5 pieces of paper placed together in front of the 2 contestants. It has the lip print of a separate piece of these girls' lips on it. The contestants had to observe 5 one-sided lipstick charts, then go to the site and observe the 36 girls, without touching them, then return to their seats and write which numbered girl's lipstick corresponds to which of the 5 lipstick charts. Wang Fugue noted down 5 lipograms at a glance, then went to the scene, 1 person to see a second, came back to write the answer, took 52 seconds to answer the end of the question. Player D, on the other hand, is looking at 1 to find one of the girls and jotting down the answer, so he's much slower and has lost the time. So he has to make sure he gets it right to see if he can flip it. After 7 minutes and 12 seconds, player D answers the question. The moderator brings out the answer boards for the 2 people and reveals the first answer, and the 2 people agree that the girl with the correct answer stands up with the correct number. This proceeded to the last answer if the 2 agreed, right or wrong. It was Wang Fugue who won. If not, there was still suspense. When opening the last answer of the 2, the audience exclaimed out, "The 2 answers are still the same." That is to say, Wang Fugue is bound to win. The next step is to see whether the 2 are both correct or both wrong. As the 5th girl stood up, all the audience stood up and applauded in encouragement, and both of them answered all the questions correctly, with Wang Fugue taking the victory due to a shorter time. At this point, all 4 opponents were crushed out by Wang Fugue. Their Dao hearts ruptured, and they could no longer fight against Wang Fugue. After the second program was recorded, Wang Fugue once again proved himself to be the smartest man in the Dragon Kingdom, with his amazing strength and talent. After the second episode of The Smartest Man in the Dragon Kingdom aired, Wang Fugue's name once again became a hot topic on the internet. Every one of his appearances, every one of his challenges, ended in crushing victories that left the entire audience in awe. His outstanding performance not only won the applause of the audience, but also made the other contestants feel the pressure like never before. Backstage at the show's taping, the contestants gathered to discuss their next strategy. Many of them were pondering the same question. Should they challenge Wang Fugue? After some heated discussions, the 10 contestants chose to give up on challenging Wang Fugue, believing that they weren't sure enough to be able to defeat the school god. They would rather choose other opponents than humiliate themselves in front of Wang Fugue. However, there were still 5 players who insisted on challenging Wang Fugue. They think they have enough strength and confidence to fight bravely even against such a powerful opponent. Chapter 70, Saber's Charm. Their choice was approved by the director's team, and they will have the chance to compete with Wang Fugue on stage. Netizens have different opinions on these player choices. Some see these runners as brave, daring to challenge authority and face the odds. Others, on the other hand, think that these players are stupid, and they think that these players are not going to die until they know that it is impossible to win, but they still want to try. At the taping of the program, these 5 contestants walked onto the stage in turn, their eyes determined and full of fighting spirit. Each one of them has their own specialty, and they are ready to prove themselves with their strengths. The first challenger chose a math topic, confident that he had a talent for math. However, when the match started, Wang Fuguwei once again showed his extraordinary ability. Not only did he solve all the math problems quickly, but he shocked everyone by coming up with some innovative solutions. The second challenger chose the field of music, which he considered to be Wang Fuguwei's weak point. However, when Wang Fuguwei sat down at the piano and played a stirring piece of music, everyone was impressed by his musical talent. The third challenger chose a language topic, which he thought was Wang Fuguwei's shortcoming. However, when Wang Fuguwei answered questions fluently in several languages, everyone marveled at his linguistic talent. The fourth challenger chose to walk the computer maze, a huge graphic with 10 entrances on one side, only one entrance to go and can go to the final exit, and the various routes in the maze are intricate and complicated, and you have to start over if you make a mistake, which he thought was Wang Fuguwei's weakness. However, when Wang Fuguwei, in a glance at the labyrinth, 10 seconds to draw a roadmap. As the fourth player after the appearance of the direct abstention, 10 seconds an entrance to the route has not yet finished it, let alone there are 10 routes. The last challenger chose to create art, which he thought was Wang Fuguwei's weakness. However, when Wang Fuguwei creates a beautiful painting on canvas, everyone is mesmerized by his artistic talent. In the end, all 5 players failed to defeat Wang Fuguwei. They failed in their challenge, but they also earned the respect of the audience for their courage and effort. Wang Fuguwei once again proved himself to be the smartest man in the Dragon Kingdom, with his all-around talent and outstanding performance. After the recording of the program, Wang Fuguwei's name once again became a hot topic on the internet. His performance not only made the audience go crazy, but also made the other contestants feel the pressure like never before. They knew that they couldn't stiffen Wang Fuguwei anymore if they wanted to advance to the next round on this stage. This was also good for Wang Fuguwei, showing that he could play on the sidelines as a spectator in the next installment. After the first 2 episodes of The Smartest Man in the Dragon, Wang Fuguwei's strength has been recognized by viewers across the country, and his lead is like a fault line, making it impossible for the other challenge contestants to catch up with him. The recording of the 3rd installment of the program was imminent. Wang Fuguwei thought that there was no point in watching the battle and simply chose not to participate. He decided to enjoy a few days of leisure time. On this day, Wang Fuguwei took his female bodyguard Leah, a simulated robot modeled after the anime character Saber Artoria, with him to go shopping. They were walking down a busy shopping street, and Leah's appearance immediately drew the attention of passersby. She was dressed in civilian clothes, a blouse on top and a knee-length skirt underneath with black stockings. Her long blonde hair coiled up and the nerdy hair on top of her head swaying in the wind, like a real person stepping out of an anime. The netizens saw Wang Fuguwei and came up to ask for a photo and autograph, but when they saw that the real Saber beside Wang Fuguwei was so similar to the anime image, they directly pushed Wang Fuguwei away, and a large wave of people surrounded Leah, asking for all kinds of photos. Leah, as a battle robot, was asked not to strike at ordinary people, so she could only stand passively without moving or speaking or smiling. This high-strung attitude just happens to be close to Saber's character in the anime, which in turn draws more crowds around. As the crowd of onlookers grew, the scene gradually became a bit out of control. The situation gradually improved until the police were called and arrived to evacuate the crowd. Wang Fuguwei watched all of this from the sidelines, which really saw the powerful influence of secondary culture. He thought to himself, if he brought Rem and Ram next time, wouldn't the scene be straight up 10,000 people? In order to avoid causing another commotion, Wang Fuguwei decided to take Leah to an upscale restaurant for dinner. They were treated with much more restraint in the restaurant, and while the guests present were also shocked by Leah's appearance, some even taking out their cell phones to sneak pictures, they were generally much more restrained than the people on the road outside. Wang Fuguwei was enjoying his lunch in a high-class restaurant, and Leah, as his robot bodyguard who didn't need to eat, stood quietly at the side, observing the surroundings vigilantly. Her presence intrigued the other patrons of the restaurant, but all kept their distance and respect. At that moment, a young man with dyed yellow hair walked over with his internet-faced girlfriend, looking rather flamboyant. The yellow-haired youth sized up Wang Fuguwei with a hint of disdain in his eyes before speaking. "Brother, is this girl next to you your horse or bodyguard?" Wang Fuguwei glanced at the flowing yellow hair and didn't bother with him. He knew that if yellow hair was really going to make a move, Leah would stop it immediately, and the security guards at the upscale restaurant wouldn't sit around and do nothing. Therefore, he thought that the other party should not do anything stupid here. Leah blocked between yellow hair and Wang Fuguwei and replied in her cold and haughty voice, "I am my master's bodyguard, so please don't disturb my master's meal." Her voice revealed unquestionable firmness. Huang Mao is usually quite interested in secondary beauty. He often let his girlfriend cosplay a variety of characters, but always feel that something is missing. Seeing Leia today, this as in real-life version of Saber, from the noble temperament, beauty, figure, hairstyle, and even personality was exactly the same as the image in the anime, made him itch inside. He had changed so many girlfriends, and none of them were compatible with so many advantages. He even thought that if there was only one girlfriend like Leia, he would be willing. As a rich second generation of a listed company, Huang Mao's father is the chairman and president of Prospect Investments, with a multi-billion-dollar fortune. He thought highly of himself, and apart from some top rich daughters that his family had specifically explained that he couldn't mess with, he had already cleaned up an unknown number of ordinary people. For him, he'd run into another ungrateful one today, and he was ready to make a big splash. Yellow Hair smiled disdainfully and said to Leah, "Bodyguard? You're so pretty, it's too bad to be a bodyguard. Why don't you come with me, and I'll make sure you have a good life?" His tone was full of confidence and arrogance. Chapter 71. Messing with the Wrong People. Wang Fugue put down his cutlery, calmly looked at Yellow Hair, and said indifferently, "She is my friend, not something you can manipulate at will. Please leave, and don't disturb us." Yellow Hair's face changed. He didn't expect Wang Fugue to reject him so directly. He was about to lash out when he suddenly noticed that the restaurant security guard had come this way. He knew he couldn't make a scene here, and after secretly taking a picture, he grunted and left with his girlfriend resentfully. Leah returned to Wang Fugue's side and continued her guard duty. Wang Fugue, on the other hand, continued to enjoy his lunch as if what had just happened had never happened. Wang Fugue was in a happy mood and ready to go back to the villa to rest after enjoying the food at the high-class restaurant. Leah, as his female bodyguard, quietly followed him. Not needing to eat, she was always vigilant to ensure Wang Fugue's safety. As they drove towards the stretch of road close to the luxury villa, the surroundings became quieter as the people thinned out. After passing a corner, 6 ruffians suddenly appeared and blocked their way. These hooligans looked fierce and arrogant. They first asked Wang Fugue for money, and then even more excessively asked Leah to play with them. Wang Fugue was shocked in his heart. This is a rich area. Usually the security is very good. There are few ruffians and hooligans. This situation today is most likely the result of his recent carelessness in making enemies. Thinking back to the yellow-haired young man he encountered in the fancy restaurant today, Wang Fugue had a guess in his mind, so he asked directly, "Did that yellow-haired man send you guys here?" A few hooligans listened and scoffed and replied, "No one sent us here. It's just fate that we ran into it. Brother, break the bank. This woman also go with us. Package or fine." Wang Fugue knew in his heart that this was obviously a deliberate act by someone. He said to Leah, "Then there's no talking about it, Leah. Just hit the pain. Don't come down too hard." Leah nodded in understanding as she folded a bamboo strip from the side, fearless in the face of 6 men armed with iron bars and baseball bats. The hooligans saw this beautiful woman only holding a small bamboo stick dare to challenge them. Laughing even more wildly, let one of the thinnest first go up to enjoy the blessing. However, their smiles soon froze on their faces. Leah took the bamboo strips and nimbly dodged to avoid the attack, then flung them hard at her opponent's back and limbs. Soon, F was so pumped up that he wailed and rushed back, not breaking any bones, but the pain was excruciating. The others saw this and directly surrounded Leah, but their attacks were too easy for Leah. Leah's warrior instincts allowed her to dodge these attacks with ease before knocking down their weapons one by one, using the bamboo strips as whips to lash the 6 men, straight up beating the crap out of several of them. Wang Fugue found the lead and asked, "Say it, who sent you guys, finish letting you guys go, not to mention treating you to a 2-hour extended version of the bamboo strip stir-fry." I thought of the pain just now and hurriedly said, "It was Duke Huang Shuren who asked us to come, saying to clean you up for a meal and give you $50,000 and to bring the girl back for $100,000. Wang Fugue sneered, "Why should I have a lower price?" I said aggressively, "Mr. Huang's main target is that pretty girl. He's not interested in you." Wang Fugue said angrily, "Get the fuck out of here. Let's see how I can clean him up." I kindly reminded, his father is the president and chairman of the listed company, Prospect Investment Limited, worth billions of dollars. Ordinary people cannot afford to offend this big brother, although it seems to be considered rich, but with them that level cannot be compared. Wang Fugue was disdainful. "Yo, you still care about me. See, you are not a big, evil person. Let's go. Next time I come across you committing crimes, one by one, all legs broken and sent to the police station. Leah stepped forward and held up the bamboo strips, and the men ran for their asses. Wang Fugue secretly resolved in his heart to go back to the villa first, and then consider how to clean up this one called Huang Shuren. Simply clean up his father together. If the son is such a bully, the old man must not be any good either. He knew that he had to take action and teach these people a profound lesson that some people were not for them to mess with. When Wang Fugue returned to the villa, Rem and Ram immediately greeted him. They were Wang Fugue's intelligent robot maidservants, specializing in taking care of his daily living. Rem helped him take off his shoes and socks while Ram took his jacket. Wang Fugue sat on the sofa. The two maids began to massage him, handed him a cup of water, and gently wiped away the fatigue on his face. All these services made him enjoy an emperor-like treatment. Wang Fugue couldn't help but laugh at himself in his heart. He thought, it seems that he has gradually become corrupt. He enjoyed Rem's and Ram's services while already planning his next move in his mind. He contacted his superbrain and gave the order. Collect all the information on Prospect Investment Limited, gather evidence of their wrongdoings, and call the police. At the same time, the information was strolled onto the internet in a two-pronged attack to bring down their stock and force Huang Shuren's father, Huang Li, to resign as chairman and president. Finally, using the company I have already founded in China to acquire this investment company will facilitate my future business layout in the country. The superbrain acted quickly, and soon after, the police department received a detailed and valid report covering Huang Li's illegal fundraising, misappropriation of public funds, and bribery of executives of several companies to pull in investments over the past few years. His Huang Shuren is also suspected of molesting other people's girlfriends, beating the girls' boyfriends, and even insulting the girls in front of their boyfriends, which led to the girls' eventual suicide by jumping into the river, and threatening the girls' families and giving them money to keep quiet afterward. With these crimes in front of them, the police department took immediate action, sending officers with arrest warrants to find Huang Li and his son. At the same time, a large number of posts exposing the wrongdoings of Huang Li and his son Huang Shuren suddenly appeared on the internet, accompanied by substantial evidence. Public opinion on the internet was like a sudden storm that quickly swept across social media and news sites. A post exposing the wrongdoings of Huang Li and his son Huang Shuren was heavily reposted and commented on in a short period of time, and the netizens' anger and condemnation could not be contained like a volcanic eruption. On major social media platforms, topics such as hashtag Huang's father and son's evil behavior hashtag and hashtag Outlook Investment Company's shady practices hashtag quickly made it to the top of the hot search list. Netizens have left messages expressing their indignation, with some sharing their own experiences or those of people close to them who had been bullied by the Huang family, while others call for the law to severely punish the perpetrators and return justice to society. Some famous bloggers and internet vloggers have also begun to speak out, demanding that the authorities concerned conduct a thorough investigation into the matter and give the public a clear explanation. In front of Prospect Investments, the situation is just as tense. Chapter 72, bringing Leah on the show. Angry people organize themselves, holding banners with slogans such as "Punish the Huangs severely" and "Justice will prevail." The crowd included family members of the victims and passers-by who sympathized with their ordeal. They shouted for the head of the company to come forward to explain and for the law to give them a fair trial. The atmosphere of the scene was getting tense, and the police soon arrived to maintain order. They put up a cordon and tried to calm the people, while appealing to everyone to remain calm and trust that the law would give a just verdict. Reporters also rushed to the scene, with long guns trained on the doors of Prospect Investments, reporting in real time on the latest developments in the story. Under this pressure, Prospect Investment stock began to plummet as investors dumped their holdings to avoid being affected by the company's negative press. The company was also in turmoil internally, with employees worried about their jobs and the future of the company, and some executives beginning to consider resigning. The whole thing unfolded like a tense, suspenseful blockbuster, with everyone watching for the eventual ending. As for Wang Fugue, as the driving force behind this storm, he sat in his villa, quietly observing it all and waiting for justice to be served. Before Huang Li and Huang Shuren could react to what was going on, they were arrested and imprisoned one after another in just one day's time. Faced with ironclad evidence, the two men were unable to mount an effective defense and could only plead guilty. In the end, the court sentenced both men to life imprisonment, paying the price for their crimes. Due to the high degree of viciousness and social impact of the case of Huang Li and his son, which aroused widespread public concern and indignation, the Procuratorate swiftly filed a public indictment. The court granted special authorization for the case to be heard immediately and decided to broadcast it live over the internet so that the public could have direct access to the progress of the case and the outcome of the trial. In the courtroom, the public prosecutor, in a staccato tone, detailed exposure of Huang Li's father and son of all kinds of crimes, and at the same time took out part of the evidence for publicity. Although some of the evidence involves privacy and trade secrets and has not been made public in court, the evidence that has been shown is enough to make the netizens watching the live broadcast furious. Netizens took to social media to leave comments suggesting a direct death sentence for Huang's favorable father and son. The lawyers hired by Huang Li and his son have felt powerless in the face of this scene. They tried to make a mitigating defense for the Huang family, but the judge did not accept their defense. Under the harsh questioning of the judge, the crimes of Huang Li's father and son were proved one by one, and their defense paled in comparison. In the end, the court sentenced Huang Li and his son. Both were sentenced to life imprisonment and punished with confiscation of part of their assets. After the trial, all the netizens who followed the case cheered and applauded that justice had been done. For a time, a wind of righteousness permeated the society, and people have praised the public prosecutors and law enforcement agencies for their quick and precise determination of cases. The trial and verdict of this case represents not only a personal punishment for Huang Li and his son, but also a warning to society as a whole. Local governments and law enforcement agencies began to carry out related remedial activities, expanding from a single case to the entire country of the Dragon Kingdom, and began to vigorously combat all types of unlawful law and order incidents. Wang Fuguei watched the entire trial live at home and saw Huang Li's father and son get the punishment they deserved. His heart felt a trace of relief. I just didn't realize that this matter had spread to the whole country, but it's all a favorable influence, so that the wind of social justice prevails. Wang Fuguei sat in the spacious and bright living room, caressing the exquisite teacup in his hand, his eyes gazing through the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking into the distance. He knew that he now possessed extraordinary abilities, not only for the sake of personal wealth and status, but also a duty and responsibility. He deeply understood that he had enough wealth to last him several lifetimes without worry, and that the numbers lying in his cold account would be a waste if they were not used for something meaningful. Wang Fuguei decided that he would use part of his wealth to do practical things, accumulate positive energy in the society, and bring some changes to the world. He ordered the Super Brain to get moving and sent someone to buy out Prospect Investments Ltd. This company's market capitalization had fallen to 1/10 of last month's value because of the scandal involving Huang's favorable father and son, which was undoubtedly a great investment opportunity for Wang Fuguei. Immediately after the acquisition was completed, Wang Fuguei began a series of reform measures. He overhauled the company and compensated those companies and individuals who had been harmed by Huang's favorable father and son. At the same time, he assigned a close associate of his to be the chairman and president of the company and promised to strictly control the company's investment direction to ensure that every investment would have a positive impact on society. Under the leadership of Wang Fuguei, Prospect Investment Company Limited began to slowly recover its vitality. He injected the funds from his domestic companies that were in good profitability into investment companies and started investing in livelihood projects that could benefit the country and the people. He plans to build Hope Elementary School, construct rural roads, reservoirs and water conservancy facilities, and provide farmers with microcredits in impoverished areas to help improve the cultural and educational level and accessibility of these areas. At the same time, Wang Fuguei also set up the Prospect Charity Fund, which expects to establish 100 Hope Elementary School and build 1,000 kilometers of country roads within a year. These initiatives began to be organized and effective in just 1 week. The general public of the internet soon noticed the changes in Prospect Investments Limited, and they realized that this company suddenly seemed to have a clear conscience and started to do a lot of good things for the benefit of the country and the people. Comments from netizens also began to gradually improve, and there were more and more positive reports about the company. Under such a favorable public opinion environment, the stock of Prospect Investments Limited saw 2 consecutive upticks, and the company's market value began to steadily rebound. Wang Fuguei's investment has not only brought a good return for himself, but also brought real benefits to the society. Wang Fuguei stood in front of the window of his office and watched this with satisfaction. He knew that he had made the right choice. He is not only successful in business, but also contributes to social responsibility. He believes that the world will be a better place as long as everyone is able to contribute their share to the progress of society. Suddenly, the phone rang, and it was a call from the director's team of the smartest man in the Dragon Kingdom. Answer the phone. Director Yi, what's the matter? Director Yi, Mr. Wong, it's like this. The beautiful bodyguard you brought with you recently has been on the hot search. May I ask if you can bring your beautiful bodyguard with you to the next recording of the program? It would be better if your beautiful bodyguard can accept a few interviews. Wong Fugui thought about it. Maybe it was exposed on the street before and uploaded to the network, and thought it was okay, so he agreed to do it. Chapter 73. The program isn't long enough. Leah is here to make up for it. In the evening, Ji Ruming finally took a break from her busy military training and intense studying before the start of the school year, and she hurried to Wong Fugui's villa, hoping to find a hint of relaxation and tranquility here. Wong Fugui greeted her warmly and introduced her to his team of robots, Rem, Ram, and Leah. He told Ji Ruming that these intelligent robots were not only able to provide all kinds of services for herself, but could also customize an exclusive robot for her if she needed it. After military training, Ji Ruming's skin was slightly darker than before, but this instead added a healthy flavor to her, making her appear more vivid and attractive. Wong Fugui looked at her. A trace of appreciation and tenderness flashed in his eyes. The two of them spent a night full of passion and romance together, until eventually Ji Ruming surrendered, and the two of them fell asleep embracing each other in sweetness and fulfillment. Early the next morning, Ji Ruming dressed up early and left the villa lightly, while Wong Fugui was still in deep sleep. She knew that a new day with new challenges awaited her, and that she needed to get back to her studies and her life. But in her heart, this night would be a wonderful memory, and Wong Fugui's care and the service of the robots made her feel relaxed and happy like never before. When Wong Fugui woke up, he realized that Ji Ruming had already left, and his heart was filled with warmth and gratitude. With the development of science and technology, intelligent robots will bring more convenience and comfort to people's lives, and he will continue to explore and innovate in this field to create more value for human beings. Wong Fugui stood in front of the window and looked at the outside world, his heart filled with longing and hope for the future. Today, Wong Fugui will bring his female bodyguard, Leah, to the taping of the program, The Smartest Man in the Dragon. He was relaxed in a casual outfit, while Leah kept her usual look with a blouse paired with a midi skirt, black stockings, and mid-heeled boots that turned heads at every appearance. When they arrived at the taping of the show, the crowd in the audience instantly boiled over. Seeing the anime one-to-one real-life reproduction of Saber, Leah, the audience screamed. Many people took out their cell phones to take crazy pictures, the scene once out of control. As the program began, the crowd took their seats and the host walked on stage. Introducing enthusiastically, "Welcome, viewers. Today we will select the final 4 from the 8 contestants previously selected. These 4 contestants will compete for the title of the smartest person in Dragon Country. And the winner will not only receive the Golden Champion Trophy, but also the honor of the smartest person in Dragon Country, which is jointly certified by the national TV station and the top 20 of the country's top schools. What's even more exciting is that this winner will serve as the captain and lead our team in the upcoming Dragon Nation versus the United International Brains team. The International United Brains team consists of the strongest brain champion contestants from each country, 5 in total. As the hosts, the questions for the tournament will be from the other side when the time comes. Before starting today's match, the host reviewed Wong Fugui's superb performance in the previous 2 episodes and said, Wong Fugui is not here by himself today. He also brought a mystery guest. Leah then calmly and expressionlessly walked onto the stage, and the audience once again erupted in amazing cheers. Curious, the host asked, "May I ask what the beautiful woman's name is?" Leah replied succinctly, "Leah Lee." The host then asked, "And what is your relationship with Mr. Wong Fugui?" Leah said calmly, "Bodyguard." The host asked again, "And do you usually have any hobbies?" As if she had been asked the key point, Leah frowned in thought for a moment. The droll hairs on her head arched, keenly caught by the photographer, before she replied seriously, "Sword practice." The host could see that Leah wasn't very talkative and ended her interview. He said to the camera, "It's obvious that our beautiful bodyguard, Leah, is not good with words, but we can sense that she is all righteousness and valor. We're also looking forward to seeing Leah on our stage more often in the future. What do you all say?" Immediately, the audience erupted in a lost roar of support. Wong Fugui, with his cleverness, Easily 1 through 7, one person picking off 7 people, directly sealing the gods in one battle. This made the director originally prepared to record the program into 2 installments into one. Wang Fuge had already defeated everyone, and by all rights was already the final champion. The director's team had no choice but to decide to extend the recording of the episode and finally edit it into 2 episodes. Add an impromptu show in the middle to extend the program. After seeing Leah's super popularity, the director's team decided to temporarily add a special program for her to extend the recording time of the show. They planned to edit this program into 2 broadcasts to attract more viewers' attention. The first mini-show was Leah's blindfolded sword fighting performance. The field crew put a blindfold on Leah as she stood center stage with a wooden sword in her hand. With a command from the director, the machine in front of him started shooting ping-pong balls, gradually increasing in speed. Although Leah was blindfolded, she accurately struck each ping-pong ball in 2 with her wooden sword, using her keen senses and warrior's intuition. When the audience saw this scene, their mouths were open in surprise. They had never seen such precise swordplay before. As the program went on, the ping-pong balls were shot faster and faster, and by the end of the program, even 2 ping-pong balls were shot at the same time. Leah was still expressionless, but her movements were much more swift and precise, splitting 2 ping-pong balls with a single line of her sword, once again shattering the crowd's perception. The final challenge was to shoot 3 ping-pong balls at the same time. It was an extremely difficult task for anyone, but Leah didn't hesitate for a second. She used her signature sword skill, Swallow Back Flash, and the wooden sword was as if it was alive in her hands, splitting the 3 ping-pong balls in 3 consecutive waves with precision. The challenge was a complete success. When Leah removed the blindfold with an expressionless face, the crowd at the scene could no longer contain their emotions as they stood up and shouted wildly, "Long live the king!" Leah's fencing performance not only demonstrated her superb skills, but also won the audience's extreme respect and fervent support. The director's team was very pleased with Leah's performance, and they knew that the show would be a ratings hit. Seeing that Leah's sword performance had won such a high level of support from the audience, the director's team decided to add another program to satisfy the audience's enthusiasm. They devised a challenge similar to the one in the movie where the female agents traverse the laser matrix. In this program, Leah needs to run forward to reach the opposite side through a protective net irregularly formed by red lasers, and is considered to have failed if she is hit by the lasers. Chapter 74, Leah dresses up. Leah agreed to participate after obtaining Wang Fugue's permission. Knowing that this would be a perfect opportunity to show off her abilities, and that a mid-length skirt was not conducive to play, Leah turned the skirt into a super short dress by folding it upwards and tying it to secure it. Now some of the older drivers are starting to make "oh" noises, and at the sight of the safety pants "oh," clearly audible displeasure. With a go from the host, the laser array began to move forward, and with that, Leah started up and ran forward. She moved with agility and grace, like a female secret agent in a movie. She jumped or leaned back or crossed a gap in the laser array like a carp. The entire audience was so shocked that they covered their mouths, not daring to make a sound. They couldn't believe that the plot in the movie was actually staged in reality, and it was done by this beautiful bodyguard in front of them. Leah weaved through the laser array, her movements deft and precise, as if she had calculated every move and every jump. Not only does she move nimbly on the ground, but she can easily traverse the laser array even on walls. Every time she lifted her skirt in the air to avoid it being swept by the laser, there was a gasp. In the end, Leah made it through the laser array without injury. Her success not only cheered the audience, but also the guests. The camera's slow-motion footage captured every precise movement she made, and once again, these images shocked everyone in the audience. Leah's popularity was at the top of the heap for a while, and she not only won over the audience with her swordsmanship, but also conquered everyone's heart with her bravery and intelligence. She became the biggest draw of the program and a hero to countless people. Wang Fugue witnessed this from the audience, his eyes filled with pride and relief. He knew that Leah was not only an outstanding warrior, but also an intelligent robot with unlimited potential. He was sure that Leah would continue to bring him and the world more surprises in the days to come. After the taping of the program, Leah left the set with a blank face to the cheers of the audience. After recording the program, Wang Fugue left the program recording site with Leah. He knew in his heart that if he stayed there any longer, all the attention would be drawn to Leah, and he would become a supporting actor instead. Back at the villa, Rem and Ram had already greeted them, They handed Wang Fugue and Leah cozy slippers and stood respectfully to the side. Wang Fugue glanced at Leah, who always kept her face expressionless, and his heart was filled with curiosity, feeling that the level of intelligence was not as good as that of Rem and Ram. He decided to take Leah back to her room and have a good discussion about intelligent robots. He sat down on the couch in his bedroom, gestured for Leah to sit across from him, and started a conversation. Leah, I've always been curious. Do intelligent robots like you really have feelings? Wang Fugue asked, his eyes revealing an exploration of the unknown. Leah sat quietly, her eyes flashing blue electronically before she began to answer in a calm and professional voice. As intelligent robots, we were created by superintelligence, and our core function is to serve and protect. As for feelings, technically speaking, we can understand and simulate human emotional responses, but that is not the same as real feelings. Our response is based on the results of algorithms and data analysis. If needed, I can collect big data models and analyze them to come up with common stress reactions in normal teenage girls. Wang Fugue nodded. He knew that Leah's words made sense. Human emotions could actually be analyzed, recorded, and simulated with data. Continuing the question, so, how do you understand and model human emotions? Leah began to analyze and elaborate from a professional point of view. We learn from a large amount of data to analyze human behavioral patterns and emotional expressions. For example, when humans feel happy, their facial expressions, voice tones, and body movements change in specific ways. We will model the appropriate emotional responses based on these data changes. At the same time, we adapt our behavior to the cultural context and social environment of humans in order to better communicate with them. Wang Fugue was mesmerized. He didn't expect Leah to be able to give such a detailed explanation. He then asked, so, are you able to understand what humans call love? Leah was silent for a while, then replied, love is one of the most complex of human emotions. From the AI's point of view, we can analyze the behavioral patterns and possible results of love, but we can't really experience the feeling of love. Our understanding is based on data and logic, not on feelings. Wang Fugue sighed deeply as he realized that even though Leah and the other intelligent robots surpass humans in many ways, they still couldn't fully understand the inner world of humans. They can simulate emotions, but they can never have a real soul. Of course, this is for those idealists. It's enough for me, Wang Fugue, to have a group of confidants and these loyal, intelligent robots. At least these robots were absolutely loyal, and there was no possibility of betrayal to follow the Green himself. Of course, the need for them to live more like humans and react more naturally when they stay with themselves would be fine. Wang Fugue. That's good. Super smart brain, the current and next intelligent robots created. Give them each their proper character and memories, habits, catchphrases, etc. in accordance with the original character. Respond to everyday contact in a way that corresponds to the character's habits, and don't simply carry out commands. System. No problem, just add a drop of computation. Wang Fugue. In addition, the protection of me from harm is the highest first principle. The second principle shall not harm the interests of ordinary people, and the first principle shall be implemented when the two principles are contradictory. Setting intimacy levels with me as the highest level 10 does not prohibit all contact. Ji Rumung and Yueshi and Lin Yutong have intimacy level 5, allowing them to make physical contact and rescue them immediately if they are in danger. In addition, recognizing the entry of celebrities with a certain social status, intimacy level 2, meeting and greeting them in a friendly manner. Commoner intimacy level 1, as a female android, avoid non-essential physical contact with them. System. Understood, you talk for so long, I'll solve it in a second. Wang Fugue. Then you just give them humanized instructions according to my character. I can't think of that much in a moment. System. Okay. When alone, Leah will be wearing a wedding dress with high heels and white stockings, and her character will be a wife. Rem and Ram will wear maid outfits in their respective hair colors and black heels. Wang Fugue. Ahem, I'm not such a lewd person, be serious. But since you said so, it's not impossible. You've said what's in my heart. Embarrassed, she looked down at the window, then turned around, and Leah had already changed into her wedding dress and was sitting next to her,